The boxing voice for the voice of the people.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another edition of the Boxing Voice. We're going to continue in Jay Corpus's idea and his fashion. We're going to keep moving. We're going to get rid of these bills right away. Definitely got to shout out a lot of people, too, actually. Man, I see someone, bought all types of things from the stores, man. Shout out to you. I want to... Mario.
Yeah.
You got your music playing, buddy.
That's not me.
What? That's most definitely you. You just muted yourself and I don't hear it anymore. That's most definitely you. You just muted yourself and I don't hear it anymore. That's most definitely you. You just muted yourself and I don't hear it anymore. That's most definitely you. You just muted yourself and I don't hear it anymore. That's most definitely you.
Yeah.
What's going on with that echo? Mario.
I don't have anything on. I don't have nothing.
That echo, Mario.
I don't have anything on. I don't have nothing. That's...
Wait a minute. I got it. That was a total error. So, moving along. Again, I was giving out some thank yous there, man. Just thank everybody that's been definitely supporting us and helping us out. Like I said, I got all the emails for all the merchandise that was purchased this past week. And again, man, just take advantage of our affiliate Audible. Just go to theboxingvoice.com/affiliate sponsors. Make sure you get a free book over there using our affiliate link. And like I told you, there's many titles. I don't know if you guys want me to constantly repeat the ones that I know, but like I said, Bernstein's definitely there, Thomas Hauser's there, Mike Tyson's book is there. You guys please take advantage of that because you remember you're getting something free and you're helping us out at the same time. Same situation with On It, if you guys are into working out and stuff like that, they have all types of products for working out. They got kettlebells. And the cool thing about their kettlebells is that they're sculptured, so it's not, those little sissy ones that your mom uses for fucking aerobics and shit. These are some badass kettlebells. We got gorillas and zombies, all type of shit, man. And again, if you were, happen to need something that's in there, you're using our link, you're helping us, and you're giving 10% off your order, man. So definitely, go to theboxingvoice.com/affiliate sponsors and use our hyperlink if you need anything from onit.com. And of course, like I always say, man, my diehards right here, my day one niggas, Fast Break Bell Bonds, man, they've been there from the beginning. They'll get you out of jam, and it's definitely your freedom call. So don't forget to call 973-497-7000 whenever you're in need of a bondsman. Chat room roll call. Come on, baby, let's do it. Let's do it. You seen the chat room was open early this time. I mean, it was just there waiting for you guys. So somebody remind the kid to shout out all the listeners that's in there supporting us. You definitely deserve a shout out. So you gotta remind me, man. Mario, let's jump right into it. Actually, what I do want to talk about is this little somebody dropped this audio on my lap, and I don't know, but I was told that this is Roger Mayweather, Leonard Ellaby, and Mayweather. Like a couple of days after the fight. So I'm gonna just go into the audio.
There's still a lot of people out there that think he won. There's a lot of people out there accusing me of having the fight fixed, accusing me of being a fake, and insulting my kids at school. That's why.
You want to hear the truth?
Yeah, I want to hear the truth.
The truth is that last time he was damn lucky. Now he's all finished. I mean, he's been hanging around doing nothing for 6 months. And any trainer worth anything wouldn't have nothing to do with it. Now I say, let's go after some new meat. Forget this bum.
You think I beat him the last time? Do you?
You got the decision.
Man, I won, but I didn't beat him. What are you afraid of, Tony?
Honest?
Yeah, honest.
He's all wrong for us, baby. I saw you beat that man like I never saw no man get beat before, and the man kept coming after you. We don't need that kind of man in our life. I know what you're feeling. Let it go.
I don't know, Mario. What you think?
I don't know. It sounds like they had All Access mic'd up. I think that's what we're going to be hearing on Saturday, man.
Yo, man. I wonder if Floyd is really going to give that rematch, man. This was a tough fight. I went back and watched that fight again, and this was a tough fight. I still scored it for him, though, like the same way, 7-5, 8-4. I'm not going to complain at all.
I had an 8-4, didn't change it once, man. I saw it. In fact, a couple of the rounds that I thought were swing rounds early on, or I'm sorry, the first time I watched it live, I thought they were definite Floyd rounds the next time around. I mean, give Maidana his just due, but that fight was 8-4 for me all day.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, like I said, I wouldn't argue if anybody had it 7-5, 8.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't argue a draw because if you got it 8-4, you can also go up and down, you know? Same way for like if somebody had it 7-5, they could go up or and down 1 point on each. So I don't know, man. It was a tight fight. I just hope he gives the rematch. I hope he gives us his Castillo days, you know, when he was, you know, a badass and he'd get in there. Before we get into these headlines, which we definitely need to touch on because there's a lot of things materializing in boxing, man. The year is definitely starting to shape up. I'm super excited. I'm fresh off the for all you guys out there in the YouTube where you see me in my little button shirts, because I'm fresh off the Canelo Lara New York City press conference. I was there. You already know, thanks to you guys, I was able to go there, and I was able to put in that work. I was like a silent assassin out there. I mean, I cornered De La Hoya. He didn't know where to go. So you already know I got some answers. I mean, I ain't going to front and act like he didn't dance around, but I got some answers on this Richard Schaefer, De La Hoya, Heyman thing. You know, I spoke to Paulie, of course, spoke to Canelo, spoke to Lara. It was a pretty good press conference. Definitely check it out. I already put up the press conference video. You should check it out because, yo, you know what's funny, Mario? This guy Canelo, remember all the shit that I would talk about him? I'm starting to love him now because not only is he a badass, but his whole team is. Let me tell you, before they gave him the microphone, Chepo went up there. And he was like, oh, you know, Laura's talking a lot about this Cuban school of boxing because, you know, Laura's been doing a lot of interviews. And he's like, oh, I'm going to take Canelo a la escuela cubanita. Like, he going to take him to school, basically, is what he's saying. So Chepo goes up there. He's like, yo, Laura, I know Laura been talking a lot of shit. And in Cuba, he's right. There's a lot of boxing schools. But in Mexico, we got universities. And the crowd went wild. It was like, ah! Yo, that was crazy, man. Yo, the motherfucker could definitely bring people out. Like, when I was at the Mayweather-Canelo New York City one, it was fucking bananas, man, bananas. But let me fucking... I totally messed up with this. I don't even know where it's at.
Hey, Mario!
Better late than never. And as well as you...
Fighting out of Phoenix, Arizona.
Boxing fans, here's Jameson.
What's up, fellas?
What up, brother? What's going on? You on the road?
Yeah, I'm heading down to my gym right now. We got some open sparring to do today, but I wanted to kind of add on to about the Mayweather thing. You know what's craziest and surprises me the most about this Mayweather-Maidana? I scored it 8-4. I still got to go back and actually officially watch it on TV again tonight. But every time you talk to someone and you see what their scorecard is, everyone has rounds different in this fight, which makes it really interesting to me, and it makes me really want to actually make sure that this rematch happens. I don't know what we can do with the public other than talk about it and kind of semi-demand it, but I really hope this rematch happens.
Yeah, man. I expect it to happen, you know. I mean, what else are we going to accept, really? Is he going to move on? Like, right now when the spotlight is on him? Because in the past, you know, the spotlight was on him, but he didn't have this deal. He wasn't it wasn't a given that Mayweather was going to fight. You know what I'm saying? This dude was fighting sometimes once a year. So even though he always drew a lot of attention, the spotlight wasn't constantly on him. Now it's on him. You know what I'm saying? So there might be some pressure, and that was the whole reason that I played that clip.
You know, and what makes it harder now is Khan taking himself out of the running. You know, I think that before, logistically, after the fight was over, it was like, okay, I don't think that there has to be a rematch based on the fact that Mayweather has an option in Khan, you know, and not say that it's the option that we'd all want, but it's an option he'd definitely go with. You know, we know Mayweather well enough to know that he would fight Khan in September over a Maidana rematch. I mean, it's not like, you know, we've demanded the big fight before with Pacquiao. It hasn't happened. But with Khan taking himself out of the running, which I think was really a strategic move on his part, it's harder to really legitimately see anything other than a Maidana rematch if he's going to fight again, like you said.
Well, I'm expecting them to fight, but I want to jump out, take one call, then we're gonna get, you know, definitely touch on some of these hot headlines out there. I want to see who's 916 because this guy has been on. And he beat Robbie. Robbie's always there at number 1. So 916, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this? Where you calling from?
Soto from Sacramento, California.
What's going on, brother? What do you want to talk about?
What's going on? Yes, I appreciate all the times. I've tweeted you a few times with Aztec 916. I appreciate all your responses, man. You and your crew are awesome. I love listening to you guys. I just have some questions off the things, like about Mayweather. I'm always curious. How come I never hear about him getting any mandatories? He's champion. How come he never does any mandatory fights? He pretty much picks and chooses whatever he wants to do. So I've always just kind of been curious about that. 2 others, and I'll listen. I don't know who Lucas Batista's with. So are there any chances of him and Broner ever getting in the ring? And last one, about your thoughts on Arreola. I mean, I thought he looked great the last time he went out, and then he's an underdog for this coming fight, but I thought he looked good, and conditioning is so much better this time. His footwork was a lot better, too. He was a lot more balanced when he was throwing his punches. So I kind of want to hear your opinions on those things. First time I ever called, really appreciate everything you guys do. I mean, you guys are just above and beyond anything out there right now. So I'll just sit back and listen to what you have to say. Thanks.
All right, brother. Thank you. Here's what we'll do. We'll break that up. I'll take Matisse Lucas, and you and James figure out if you want to dabble with the heavyweights or switch it to the other guys. So to answer his question, Lucas Matisse could absolutely, positively fight Adrian Broner. Now, the thing is, would it happen? Because clearly Al Heyman is the advisor or manager to both of those gentlemen. And he's done it in the past, matched his fighters tough. He did it with Laura Trout. He did it with Danny Lucas. He did it with Broner Maidana. But I think that with Broner, they're trying to rebuild. And that's why they took this regress type of fight. You know, a fight where you're expected to win, a fight with a guy that, you know, isn't a natural challenger in that division. So I believe that it may happen, just not right away. Now, do I want it to happen? Oh, my God, I would love that fight. I would love that fight, especially this new Lucas. Like, he was working behind a jab. He was really doing some work in that Molina fight. That's why I don't consider it fight of the year, because it was like a one-sided thing. This guy was beating on Molina all night. But all right, so when do you guys pick up that other question?
You want to take the Mayweather, James? Or... All right. Well, to answer your question about the Mayweather situation, he does get mandatories. The fact of the matter is whether he chooses that route and whether it kind of correlates with what he wants to do. They made Manny Pacquiao his mandatory, I believe, for the I forgot which one it was. I can't remember exactly, but they tried to make that fight. They tried to put pressure on that fight. You know, he chooses other routes, And because he's Floyd Mayweather, he gets leniency as far as which routes he's able to take and kind of get away with. But the sanctioning bodies, the alphabet, I guess the people in charge, the powers that be, they're never really going to put pressure on a guy like Mayweather. I mean, they enjoy the purse bids that I'm sorry, not the purse bids. They enjoy the sanctioning fees that he pays. They aren't going to put as much pressure on him as they would, a newcomer like a Jesse Vargas type who's just recently got a title. They're going to want to put pressure on him. So it just depends. There are times where who he wants matches up, correlates with the direction he's going and who they want, the sanctioning bodies, that is. But then there are other times where he just straight up dodges them, and they're never really going to penalize him. I mean, he jumps up in weight so many times. He's left belts behind so many times. It's like, you can't really give him they've never given him a chance really fully because he's never held a direct belt for more than a year or so. He stays inactive and they strip him, or he moves up to 154 for one fight and then comes back down. It's like they're never going to really test that power they have. So, I mean, that's really what it boils down to.
The answer to the question about the heavyweights is that this fight's really tough to pick because in the last fight you had an overweight Chris Arreola, also with a broken nose, who was kind of hesitant to actually get in the pocket and exchange. And that's where we know that Chris Arreola really flourishes. He's able to get on the inside and just kind of beat you up a little bit, and he kind of overpowers you like he did with Seth Mitchell. He hits you with the bombs. He likes getting close when he throws these punches. So it's an interesting little situation because in the last fight I feel that Stiverne did a really good job kind of outboxing him. But now that Chris is going to come in with a healthy nose and he's kind of slimming up a little bit, I think that's it's going to work into his favor here. And now I don't want to discount Stiverne because I think that he won the last fight and he won the last fight pretty convincingly. It's just my mind is telling me Bermain is going to do the same thing and just kind of outbox him. But my heart is watching Chris Arreola and just seeing his different demeanor and just losing. It's almost like a prideful thing that he lost. And I think that's going to he's gonna have like a chip on his shoulder, which allowed him to train a little bit harder in this training camp to make it take it a little bit serious. Stiverne wasn't really that big of a name when Chris Arreola beat him or when Chris Arreola lost to him. So I think a lot of things are kind of going in the favor of Chris Arreola because he's kind of the guy that needs to have a chip on his shoulder and kind of have that extra fire and burn, especially because he, quote, never really ran before in any other training camps, which is absurd. But like I said, I think my mind is telling me Stiverne because I always kind of try to pick boxers, but I'm actually going to probably go with Chris Arreola here on this one, and I think he might actually stop him late in the round.
Wow. And you can't forget he did knock him down, so, I'm sorry, he did wobble. He came back strong off of that the knockdown. So, I mean, there were points in that fight in the first one, James, where I really felt Arreola was going to come on and he could take it. And, that eventually got away from him. He got busted up fairly well. But, yeah, I agree. I mean, that fight was close to a certain extent the first time around, but he has to be the dog, Like, there's no way he can't not be the dog when he lost the first fight, and he lost it the way he did.
It's a tough thing though, because I mean, I like Stiverne, but
yeah,
I don't know. Like I said, I guess I'm picking with my heart only because I feel like I guess my intuition says Chris, but typically I usually don't pick like that. But this time, just for some reason, it's almost overwhelming. So I'm just gonna have to go Chris like I said. What do you guys got? Well, I guess you guys want to wait till the end of the show. I can't wait because I might not be on the end. So.
All right, we got your Arreola pick down.
Vern, I don't need to wait. I'm not about to pick Arreola because he's in shape. Like, you should have been doing that shit. Get the fuck out of here. Listen, Arreola had massive amounts of trouble with Thomas Adamek pre-Vitali. That was a decent Thomas Adamek. That was a Thomas Adamek that only lost to Chad Dawson at like heavyweight. That was a decent Thomas Adamek, but I will say he was also strategically moved up these rankings, but it was a good fight for Arreola. This was a cruiserweight blowing up to heavyweight, but starting to make his own claim to be there. And the win over Arreola is what told us all in our mind, okay, he's a heavyweight. He's a heavyweight. He can no longer be considered a cruiserweight. He's not a heavyweight who's going to beat Klitschko, and that proved to be right. But you know, he put it on him, and so then Stiverne came and did it even better, and he got more swag than Adamant. So I'm going Stiverne again.
Mario, you want to make your pick or you want to wait?
Well, yeah, I'm going to pick Stiverne, man. It's hard. I mean, obviously, there's parts of me that are that want Arreola to kind of win because I've always gotten behind his the effort that he's put through. I mean, you know, I wouldn't say like he revived the heavyweight picture. Not, I mean, because it's really, depending on how you look at it, it's not really revived. But I think he was one of those first fighters that kind of got in the mix and was like, oh man, you know, we could see some great things. You know, when he fought Vitali, there was a big part of me that really wanted him to win, that knew he wasn't going to win. But he's better for the sport. You know what I mean? Like, he's better for the sport, the way he fights in terms of the heavyweight picture, and we need that in the heavyweight picture more than ever. But no, I just can't see him overcoming some of these obstacles, in shape or not. You know, when he was dominated in that fight, he was dominated. It had nothing to do with anything else, and I guess you can make an argument for cardio, but I just think that there were too many flaws within Chris Arreola in that fight, and you know, that correlate with his entire career. You know, that you look at him and he's a limited fighter. Not to say that Stiverne is the entire package, but I think he'll pull it off. You know, Ness hit it right on the button. I mean, this was a perfect fight for him the first time around, and I think he was a huge favorite, if I'm not mistaken. I think I remember he was a pretty big favorite in that first fight, and they were laying the groundwork for him to get the rematch with either Vitali or Vladimir, and that was the question they kept asking because he had made that comeback. He had already dropped a significant amount of weight, I think, at that point. But no, I just can't. I understand why picking Chris Arreola, you know, would be, I guess, in people's minds, but for me, I think Stiverne's going to take it. I think he'll stop him by 8 or 9.
Wow. Listen, I'm dying to talk about this Chavez Golovkin. Basically, both promoters told ESPN.com that this fight is all but dead. I just want to throw this out there, and let's see where this takes us. Aaron told Ring Magazine that there is no update, but the point is that I thought that we made a crazy, unbelievable offer to Chavez for the Golovkin fight. It called for Golovkin's fight to pay him a minimum of $7 million, and if he lost that fight, we guaranteed him another fight for $5 million. Now, if he beat Golovkin, then we would pay him a minimum for his next fight of $10 million, said Aram, whose top-ranked contract runs through October 15th with Chavez. So, and I quote, all this is quotes, so we would do these 2 fights and the minimum he would make is $12 million. And if he was successful, he could make $17 million plus. And he turned that offer down. So we offered him a 1-fight offer at a considerably less amount, but still better than what Golovkin has already accepted for this fight. And he turned that down. So obviously, he doesn't want the fight, and we go on with our business. I know that we presented this to his father, and he thought that it was an amazing offer and tried to persuade Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. to accept, said Aram, but Julio Jr. didn't accept it. The big problem is that he apparently being advised by Billy Keane, who has no experience in any of this. Now, I just want, before you guys jump in, to remind you that there was a rumor, and Sam Watson did not deny, but he did not confirm that it was true. But there was a rumor that Al Heyman was trying to sign Chavez, and I believe it was a Spanish website that published it, and they said it was like $47 million was the offer. But now, because that's a rumor, and no one else has even published that outside of that publication, and I wouldn't know because I haven't Googled that in so long. But let's just assume that because it's a rumor, we can't use it as facts. We're talking about $17 million plus for Chavez, like a guy who just had to fucking rematch Vera. Like, shouldn't he be taking this shit and running? Like, I mean, I know there's a lot of you guys out there that love Chavez. You know, oh, he's a Mexican, son of a legend, but let's be for real. He's kind of limited at this point. Like, I'm not saying he can't get better because, look, fucking Maidana, you know, talked to me last year. I definitely picked him to lose to Alexander, and he did. You know, I called him a bum then, and ever since then I was calling him a bum. But he shut my mouth with the Broner win, and look at what he did with the Mayweather. So, yes, people can change, but is Chavez truly changing? I mean, come on. Come on. 17 mil? Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate with myself, Mario and James. Maybe he's holding out because he's saying, why would I take just 17 million for 2 fights when I could fight Golovkin for more? Because clearly Bob is offering him 7 to fight Golovkin. That was the original. 7 mil plus you can make 10. Your next fight would be 10 million, but 7 million is offering. I'm sure that Chavez could get that without Bob. And then Martinez Cotto, if Martinez beats Cotto the way that he should, Martinez Chavez too is fucking huge and worth more than 10 million. Am I right?
Go ahead, James.
He doesn't want to deal with Al Heyman, so it doesn't sign with Al Heyman basically eliminating him for both those fights because I'm sure Sergio and Golovkin sure as fuck has a deal with HBO.
Well,
I don't know, man. It's tough to turn that down. I don't like. Without knowing the inside deal, it's like obviously you have to have an offer on the table that's better because how do you turn that down? One, you're confident that you can beat the smaller Golovkin, and two, you're getting that's a ridiculous amount of money, and I can't imagine the $47 million is a real offer because I can't imagine he generates that much. We were just talking about how his numbers are down in San Antonio because people are tired of the shit. So without a good credible win under his belt, there's no way Al Heyman throws $47 million at him, but that's just me.
Well, just remember, you can throw $47 million at any fighter and stretch it out. He might have him for like 10 fights to make that 47. Who knows?
But let's keep this in perspective, though. It's not that he's turning down the money per se. What he's turning down is the contract extension that comes with the money. And this is a great quote from Aram. In what he's quoted in saying is, but what Chavez wants is the bigger purse without the futures. Why would we take a risk losing money on the fight with Golovkin and then we lose the kid as well? And so that's the big issue right there is he either takes the money and the contract extension or the other scenario that Bob, Aram, and Top Rank laid out for him is they give him a significant decrease in money and they sign him to like a one-fight deal. I don't know. I'm probably going to be in the minority here, but I'm really on the side of Chavez in this sense because what we have here is an overall look and kind of like a self-destruction type of thing that's going on with Top Rank. This is the way they do business, and this is the way a lot of promoters do business. But when you are reluctant to work with other promoters and when you've, taking these certain stances, then these guys, these boxers, they hear and they see things in the media. They know what their limitations are when they're with Top Rank and what their limitations are when they're with Golden Boy. Chavez knows where Canelo's at. Chavez knows where some of these other fighters are at. Chavez is trying to get whatever is best for him. I respect that. Top Rank is in the similar situation with Mikey Garcia where they're trying to sign these guys to multiple extensions and give them the fight. So they're dangling the bait and these guys don't want to take it. I agree with Chavez in this sense because it's like, why, if you don't want to sign an extension, you shouldn't have to just to make this fight happen, even if you're going to get paid. You know what I mean? If that's his prerogative, then that's his prerogative. I respect that. If he wants to see what Golden Boy is like, or he wants to venture out on his own, Miguel Cotto's demonstrated that you can do that and be successful, well, then that's great. But on the other side of things, they want him to take the significant decrease, which is, by the way, not quoted by Bob Arum. They won't say how much they were willing to give him less to sign for just this one fight. But why do that? Because what's the return on a Golovkin fight? It's not as though he's fighting this mainstream marquee fighter on pay-per-view, where it's like if you lose, at least your at least your stock goes up, like exactly like Marcos Maidana just happened. You're taking this fight with this guy who's still mostly an unknown in the commercial standpoint into casual fans. So it's like the risk and return isn't there. I don't blame Chavez personally. I'm sure people are going to disagree with me. I want this fight to happen. I'd love this fight to happen, but I understand why it's not happening. Is pretty much what I'm trying to get to.
If it was a few fights, like 3 or 4 fight extension, I'd be okay with it. But it's only a 2 fight, and they're giving you a win-lose clause. I don't know, man. What's that saying? It's like your 2 birds in the hand is better than 3 in the bush or some shit like that, whatever it is.
No, it's not a 2-fight extension though, James. That 2-fight is the money is guaranteed for the 2 fights. So it's $12 million or $17 million for Golovkin, but they wanted him to sign past October 2015 when his contract expires. So the contract would essentially take them into a 3 or 4 fight deal based on the time and the parameters. Because October 15th is the cutoff for his first deal. They're signing him past that. I mean, he's not going to fight Golovkin twice in a span of 3-4 years. So it's more than a 2-fight deal. That's just a 2-fight guarantee, win or lose.
Okay, I get that. Okay, that makes more sense then. You know what? Fuck it. I'm on the other side. I'm with you, Mario.
Yo, you know what fucks me up? That Arum wants to sign him that further into the future. Like if the existing contract already expires in 2015 October, which is next year, end of the year. You want more than that? Like he really thinks Chavez is going to be around that long?
He's still relatively young.
But he's moving up now. Like he's at 168 now. He's not at 160. I mean, he's over there with Carl Froch, Boutte.
Yeah, so there's a laundry list of guys he could fight over the next 4 years.
You got Brandon Gonzalez. Man, I don't know, man. I don't know.
No, there's a lot left in that to milk out. I mean, will he become that fighter like you were asking? I don't know, and probably not, in my opinion. But can you milk pay-per-views out of the Mexican fans come Cinco de Mayo and come Mexico Independence? Absolutely. It's a business deal on their end. They're not looking for Chavez to become some lineal champion or unified titles. They're looking to milk as much money off they can with legitimate fights, and certainly past 2018 certainly up to 2018 in my opinion, Chavez will be around fighting. Whether he's competitive or not, that'll remain to be seen. But they're going to pay to watch him, man. They're going to pay to watch him. Canelo can lose to Lara. They're going to pay to watch him. Chavez could have gotten demolished to Golovkin. They're going to pay to look. He lost to Martinez. You know what I mean? He's still a viable option out there. And James is absolutely correct in his lack of drawing power in San Antonio because of the shenanigans, because of all the things and the negativity. James absolutely right. He pinpointed that, and that is indicative on where Chavez is coming from, and that's what makes him, I guess, less of a viable option in top rank size. But still, they understand that the ceiling isn't quite as low as it is for other fighters in similar positions.
Yeah, man. Well, I think we burned it up long enough. Let me throw it out to the streets here, man. 702, you're live on the Boxer Voice. Who's this? 702, you're live. All right. Well, that's what I get for not going to my board.
Introducing the hard-hitting ringside Robbie.
Good evening, Ness and crew. How much time do I got? Because I could talk about each one of these topics you brought up so far.
Well, then don't waste time, friend. Go right to it.
Okay, first of all, let me get to the Arreola Stiverne thing. I'm with Ness and I'm with Mario on this. I think Arreola is going to get knocked out. I think Stiverne is going to knock him out this time. But the sad part about it is, once he knocks out Arreola, he's going to get knocked out by Wilder, because Wilder is the mandatory after this fight. So it's going to be a very short reign for whoever wins this fight. you're gonna have to deal with Deontay Wilder afterwards, and like I said, it's going to be a very short reign. As far as the Chavez thing, the fighter is nuts for turning that down, but I can also see the other side. But I've lost all respect for Chavez because I don't think he's taking his career seriously. So whichever promotion company signed him, whether it's Top Rank or Golden Boy, they better be careful what they're signing, because I'm not convinced that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is taking his career seriously. And the only reason why I want to see the Golovkin fight is because I think Gennady Golovkin can knock him out and take care of Chavez, and we wouldn't have to deal with him anymore. And if the Cold War didn't exist, which we know it does, now would be the perfect time to put on Mayweather-Pacquiao. But, of course, that's not going to happen. So we have to hope that Mayweather and Maidana 2 takes place, because Mario, I know you haven't been listening to the show a lot, but I am not a Khan fan. I don't want to see Khan get anywhere near a pay-per-view. His performance against Collazo, yes, he beat Collazo, but it was not impressive. And anybody with a solid punch will take care of that glass chin or break it into a million pieces. So Amir Khan is not long for the world stage. If he gets in against anybody that knows how to punch, especially at 147, turn out the lights, the party's over. Sorry, UK, but that's the way it is. Keith Thurman would take care of Khan. Sean Porter would take care of Khan. Anybody else would take care. Hell, Mayweather hasn't knocked anybody out in years, and he would knock out Khan. It wouldn't be worth us spending our money on that, because it wouldn't last very long. And speaking of money, I'm very disappointed at Showtime. I looked up the fact that they're going to replay the Mayweather fight this Saturday. They're going to lead that off with the Love fight. That's a good way to get low ratings, because anybody that wants to see the Mayweather-Maidana preview has to sit through that Love fight. And so I'm glad it let off the pay-per-view, because it was the worst fight on the card.
I thought it was pretty exciting at times. I thought it was the worst officiating on the card, but honestly, I would have rather seen that fight than Broner, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. They're playing the entire card there, all 4 fights, because when they told us at the press conference was that they're just going to do the Khan fight and then the Mayweather fight. Weird.
I don't know, man. Well, I want to talk about a few things I'm excited about. I'm excited about Crawford Gamboa. So excited that we're like planning a road trip for this motherfucking fight, because this is out in the sticks, man. I don't know. If anybody's from Omaha, please call in 646-478-3068. Omaha, Nebraska, dude. Like, this shit doesn't even sound like it's a city. But I like Crawford that much, man. And the irony in this is my first time ever seeing Crawford live was on the undercard of Gamboa Ponce de Leon. Now, I had seen Crawford clearly on a bunch of top-ranked streams. They've been hiding this kid, Cameron Duncan has been hiding this kid for a while. It was hard to get him on TV. And the reason that I haven't been all up, like, souping him up as much as I was in the past is because the minute that Max Kellerman started doing that, I fell back because, I just feel like he's going to jinx this guy. And nothing against Max, but they usually get it wrong. They're usually, high on big punches and stuff. Like, he had it all wrong with Nonito, and he knew it. He was trying to hide Rigondeaux from the world, but you can't do that. You can't do that. But Crawford, Gamboa, I fucking love this. What do you guys think?
Go ahead, James.
It's a 50-50 fight, man. That's real fucking tough for me, to be honest with you, because I've been real high on Gamboa for a long time, but then he gave us some lackluster performances, so it's kind of hard to even gauge where exactly he is. I knew that Gamboa was short, but when I saw the face-to-face, it was kind of shocking what the height differential is in that. But, I'm leaning towards Terrence Crawford right now. I just think that he has a little bit more boxing ability than Gamboa is going to be able to deal with. But, God, it's hard to pick against Gamboa, for me anyway, because, like I said, I was high on him for a long time. So, Ness, you don't believe in Max Kellerman saying that he sounds like, or I think he compares him to Parnell Whitaker like every chance he gets. I don't know.
I mean, I could pick right now. Like, I'm going Crawford. Like,
So
I have no
it's
doubt
close,
that he's going to beat
You think no
Gamboa.
doubt. You think it's like what? What are you thinking? 70-40 or 70-30, 60-40, 80-20?
Listen, you know, and I'm going to be honest with these listeners like I always am. Ever since Maidana beat Broner, I've been afraid to talk the way I normally talk. Like, I want to say Crawford's going to beat the shit out of Gamboa very easily, but I don't want to jinx it. He's going to beat him, though. But you already know what I'm secretly thinking. He's gonna listen. Gamboa's last 3-4 fights have been trash. Ever since that Manny Pacquiao undercard, he has looked less than himself. Is all I can say.
Hasn't he only fought once since then?
No, he fought that dude.
Twice.
He fought the Filipino. Then he fought Darley Perez, and he fought somebody in between or after Darley Perez.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, and now I think we got to hone in on exactly what Ness is saying in terms of the fact that Crawford was opening up the undercard, the untelevised undercard of a Gamboa headline event, a few years ago, and look where they're at in their career now. It says a lot about where Gamboa is, but more so about where he's come from and what he's done in that time span versus Crawford. I mean, a year ago there wasn't the hardcores. Maybe knew him fairly well, but they can't say that they'd seen him fight more than once or twice. And now this kid's busted out on the scene, and he's taken the lightweight division by storm. I mean, there is nobody that wants to argue the fact that he is the kingpin at 135, regardless of who he's beat. There's a great quote by Arum, because remember, this fight is happening because Garcia and Gamboa is not. He said, Arum was in the media saying, this fight is just as good, and he's referring to Crawford Gamboa, just as good, maybe better than Garcia Gamboa. We just couldn't live with Mikey's financial demands. A lot of it was fueled by other people who told him that Gamboa was going to get $1.5 million, and he was only really getting $750,000, which was ludicrous and wrong. But we made a good fight here. Gamboa does have a lot of power, but like most Cuban fighters, he's very cautious and a very good boxer. Crawford is a superb boxer, and that's what it's going to come down to me. The reason why I like this fight so much is that it could go either way, I think, for me in terms of directions. I think at some point during the fight, and a lot of points maybe, we're going to see a really crafty type of fight where it's kind of like a cat and mouse game, setting up punches, changing angles, just a lot of little adjustments throughout the fight. But I hope and I pray and I do believe that we will at certain points, not for long, but maybe spurted out through rounds, we're going to get a firefight because these guys are both quick-handed. I think they're going to look to do damage at certain points in the fight. They may have to steal rounds, depending on what some of those other rounds look like. Maybe you can kind of like swing rounds, but they're kind of hard to score. As you get towards the latter of the fight, one guy pushes the other, and we haven't seen Crawford in that position. We've seen Gamboa on the offensive side of that position. Oh, we did see him against the Filipino. He did get tested a little bit, but I can't wait. I want to see a firefight with two of the fastest hands in that division. I mean, it's going to be awesome,
Now, Mario, James, actually, did you want to jump in on this one?
No, man, I think you hit it right on the head. I think it's going to be a great fight. I just can't believe that you're so certain about it. I mean, I'm taking Terrence Crawford, but there's a sense of part of me that says, damn, man, Gamboa could pull this out. I don't know.
No way.
Like I said, I'm leaning towards Crawford, though.
No
I think it's a 50-50. I mean, right now it has to be.
Exactly.
No.
I can't see how you give the edge to one guy or the other.
No, because Crawford he's a boxer's boxer. He is like Mayweather-ish, and when I say that, I say this, like, he's not going to get pulled into a slug fight. He will box you technically, jab, 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 hit you with the overhand right on your way in, whatever, stay on the outside. We all know he can move, but what I like about him is that he's a tough guy, dude. And when he has to bite down, he does. And he doesn't look like he's biting down out of urgency.
What fight are you thinking of?
Exactly. I want to know what fight you're talking about, him proving that he's a tough guy.
Okay, well, the one that he was on, the undercard of Punts, he went down in that fight.
I never saw that fight.
Yeah. I'm telling you, kid, I've been watching him before he made TV. Of course, Top Rank streams or whenever I caught him live. Man, I remember doing it's on the YouTube channel. I remember doing an interview with Cameron Duncan at the Rigondeaux Donaire press conference in New York City and asking him, yo, what's going on with Terrence Crawford? When are we going to get Terrence Crawford? Then, boom, he got that Prescott shot a couple of weeks later. But this kid's been, this dude beat Mikey. He beat mad people in the amateurs. I think Danny beat him, though. But, he's foughting everybody. Like, I don't understand. See, this is the problem. And it's kind of fucked up, but it's going to get us into our next topic. But I'm going to take a call before we do that. Forget about it. You know what? Forget. I just wanted to forget.
I've been gone too long that Ness is reserving himself.
Yeah. I want to take a caller here. 11111. You're live. Who's this?
Yo.
What up?
Hey, Greg from Bronxville, Kentucky. How y'all doing at the Boxing Boys?
Chilling, brother.
Yo, I'm a huge fight fan. Fuck the haters, Ness. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
For real, though. I finna talk about that crazy night on the moment card. Damn, nigga. All I seen on them fights was off the hook, man. Except the Khan versus Collazo fight. That shit was stupid. You feel what I'm saying?
What didn't you like about Khan Collazo?
Nah, let me tell you. It ain't no fight when you walk around the ring with your hands down. But in all sincerity, I thought Love and Broner did all right. They ain't the best, but Mayweather, he obviously supporting their fight career by getting them, fights.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Do you think that Love Parabon fight should have been stopped early? Or not early, but do you think that it should have been stopped when Parabon had him down?
Nah.
No? So you think Love won that fight?
I want to talk the Mayweather fight.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Man, Mayweather had to have done the worst out of all the people in the money team that night. Their own leader did horrible. Did you see him swinging and missing?
Yeah, but I think that's kind of taking account that he was definitely on the highest level of all the people on the money team as well.
True. Yeah, you can't forget that.
I can't believe Mayweather did that shit. I put my stats on that bitch.
It's because I think it's hard to understand how awkward he really is until I imagine you're actually in the ring with this man. He's not a conventional fighter by any means. When you're used to fighting conventional fighters, even if they're coming straight forward at you, it's kind of tough to deal with that, man. So imagine you were sparring and some dude ran at you and started wheeling punches everywhere. What would you do? Even if your game plan is to circle and kind of run away, he's still fucking running at you, mauling punches and eating all of your shots. It's a lot tougher than I think people think it is.
Man, you know what? I ain't get my money because you getting fucked up for more than half the fight. Everybody calling it a draw. Man, you're talking about the money team is going to drive boxing, you know what I'm saying? But, dog, they ain't even that good. It's just a bunch of bullshit in the welterweight division. Mayweather honestly slowing down, nigga.
Hey, brother, thanks for calling in, man. I love your fucking enthusiasm. What happened?
I ain't been with that money team bullshit.
I hear you, brother. I'm not fooled by J. Leon Love either, man. He steps up, he's going to get stepped down on or stepped on.
Or Mickey Bay.
Yeah.
Mickey Bay or J. Leon Love. That whole team, man, is suspect.
Yeah, where Mickey Bay, he got rocked by Alan Herrera, right? Last week. Oh my God. He's lucky. He's lucky that his fight got overshadowed by the real weekend fight. Because him and Smith, I mean, I don't even remember if I talked about them because, first of all, fucking Ishe Smith, dog. He was fighting the high school janitor, B. Did you see that dude that was in the ring? And all I could think was, is that dude Irish? Because to me, he looked Irish. Did he have red hair and everything? He fucking his stance was even Irish, like old school shit you see on the back of a beer bottle or some shit. The guy with the fist pointing at himself. I'm like, oh my God. It was a massacre that whole weekend, man. It was mismatches all around, bro. Let's take it back out to the streets, man. 310, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this? Where you calling from? 310, you're live.
Hey, man, how you doing, man? It's my first time calling in, man.
Oh man, thank you, man. We appreciate when you guys finally lose your virginity to us.
I appreciate it, man. I really wanted to call in, man, and speak about last week's fight, man. I heard something that Vic said. I came across the show on an accident, man, because I friended somebody on Twitter. I guess you was friends with, and you popped up on my timeline. So I just turned it on, heard it, and I was like, oh, okay, this sounds cool. But I'm gonna get right into it, man. I didn't actually get to see the J. Leon Love fight because I saw it at a theater, and it was a problem, and it didn't pop up on the screen until the next fight. But J. Leon Love, he's a work in progress. So I really don't want to be too hard on him. You know what I'm saying? He's coming into the game, and they bringing him up, but they're giving him hard fights, hard enough for him, but they testing him. So he got to pay his dues. You know what I mean? And that's how I feel about that. But, as far as Broner.
Wait a minute. Don't move on yet. Don't move on yet, because I just want to ask you. But don't you feel that he's failing these said tests?
I mean, some tests you take, you don't always get 100%. Sometimes you barely pass. You get 70%, you get 80%, and it comes with work. You know, he's got to get polished. I'm not saying he's there. I'm just saying he got to get polished. And I give it to Floyd for testing him like that. Because Bob tested Floyd like that. He put all of them guys in front of Floyd when he was coming up. And made Floyd get in the ring like that. A lot of people don't even realize, because they see Floyd, a lot of people didn't even come across Floyd until he fought Gotti. You know, that's when a lot of the world saw Floyd, but I've been watching Floyd since the Olympics. People think the last cut that Floyd had was with Emmanuel Burton. The last cut he had was with Chop Chop Crowley. He got cut in that fight. It wasn't a bad one like it was in this fight, but he did get cut. That was his last cut, you know. And people was saying about Cotto did this, Cotto did that. People don't understand that Floyd kept forgetting that Cotto was an orthodox fighter, but he's really left-handed. And he kept getting caught with that left hand because Cotto could manipulate that left hand the way everybody can manipulate their strong hand. So that's why he kept getting caught with that jab. That jab was eating him up with the Cotto fight. And every time he got hit with that jab, you'll realize, he'd be like, he'll remember, this guy's left-handed. That's why he kept getting caught with it. Now, as far as the fight that he had with Maidana beat on him, but not in the realm of the rules. He didn't beat on him in the realm of the rules. He beat on him in his back. Just in the first round alone, I think he hit, I counted 37 hits to the back of the head. You know, he took a beating like that to the hips, to the back, to the neck, to the back of the head. Low blows. I think he had 3 warnings in the first round from Tony Weeks. That's the type of beating Floyd took. And the fact that Maidana was able to, most people that fight Floyd, their punch rate go down. Maidana's punch rate stayed above or even went above average, and it allowed people to think that Maidana was doing something that he really wasn't doing because his punch rate didn't drop. Floyd fight everybody else, their punch rate dropped. But Floyd just 3-4 months earlier, he didn't stand like that in front of Canelo. He know who he can stand in front of. There's no way he would have stood in front of Canelo like that because Canelo is a way bigger puncher. As far as the gloves, hey, that's just part of the game. De La Hoya did him. He did somebody else. He couldn't complain. He had to wear the heavyweight gloves when he fought De La Hoya at 54. It wasn't nothing he could do about it. So I don't see what the big deal was about the gloves. It's just politics in boxing. It is what it is. You know, you want to wear this outfit or you want to do this and you can't do that. Hey, that's just part of the game. That's what it is. As far as Broner and Molina, let's get to this fight. I feel like the Broner and Molina fight was like the Canelo and Shane Mosley fight. It wasn't a question of whether he can win. The question was, could you do something to this guy that nobody else done? That was the question they asked with Canelo when he fought Shane. Pacquiao beat Shane. Mayweather beat Shane. Let's see you knock him out. You didn't do that. That's what it was with Broner. Broner got in there. We knew Broner was going to win. It wasn't the fact that he was going to win. How were you going to win? Were you going to stop him or were you going to knock him out? He fell short. And to me, I didn't want to be hard on Broner and his coaching staff when he first took the L. Okay, you took the L, you got in there with a guy, and he just overwhelmed you. But this fight, he didn't change anything. He's still standing there. He's still getting touched, and I didn't see nothing change. Me personally, and it's just my opinion, I think he might want to change his trainer because
Great point.
Now I got to blame the trainer. If you still in here doing the same thing that got you beat the hell up, the last fight, and you're doing the same exact thing, then that's on the coach. It got to be on the coach. So what's your thought on it?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I always felt that it was going to be eventually time for him to move on as far as trainers go. The thing that I'm not certain about is who could help him best at this point. I'm not sure. I'm really not. You know, I never claimed to be like this proficiency expert. I think James could probably be, expand on that point better. But I agree. I think it is time to get a different look. James, what do you think?
I don't know. I've said it once. I'll say it a million times, man. I think his cockiness and his arrogance inside the ring is holding him back from his greatness. Like, it's almost like he's content with who he is because he believes in himself as much as the people outside. We all thought for a while that no one really thought that he was going to be the heir to Mayweather, but we thought a lot higher than him, than Andre Bertel ever, and that's where I'm kind of categorizing him right now. But
good point. Good point.
There's a lot of technical flaws with him in the sense that he's using the Philly shell and he's not using it correctly. Where you've got to be a lot more defensive minded and have better footwork, like someone like Mayweather does. But when you're using it and you're standing in the pocket and you're exchanging with these 1-2 shots and not moving your feet off, it's kind of people like to use this term and say like Brandon Rios and Marcos Maidana, they're punching bags, but that's exactly what Broner is, and that's what he's shown that he is before. His mentality matches his style, but his style doesn't match the talent that he has. If he was able to kind of reset, which I don't think at this point you really can, because it'd be starting from square one with this man. And I mean, he's got to get someone that's going to be able to, one, he'd have to respect them, because I don't think he really respects Mike Stafford as much as we kind of hope he does. When you're a trainer and you have a fighter, you really need to have a certain type of bond where your fighter almost listens to you, even if he feels what you're saying isn't the best. He almost still has to kind of have the respect for you, where he listens to you and trusts you. I don't think Broner has trust in Mike Stafford. I think Stafford is just a yes man. So it's tough to say who I feel like he could go with, because even if he goes with someone like, let's just toss some names out there. Say you got a Rodney Shields, or you got a Freddie Roach or something like that. I still think that Broner's arrogance would block him from changing in the ways that we really need to. I guess that's just my take on it.
Before I get into my take on Broner, I want to just mention that, this Crawford fight is going to be June 28th. It's going to be on HBO, and it's going to have a 18,300 seat arena. Can he
in Nebraska?
In Nebraska, it's in Omaha. It's the CenturyLink Center in Omaha. Now, is he that big of a draw in his hometown? Like, don't get me wrong. I'm happy that Bob is doing this. He has history for not properly promoting African-American fighters. I mean, Timothy Bradley, I don't think Bob ever took him back. But Gary Shaw did have a few Timothy Bradley fights in his hometown. But, I mean, what black fighter fought in their hometown? And he's taking Crawford over there. And I like this. And I really want you guys to tune into this card, because Miguel Beltran is going to be on the undercard versus Juan Diaz. So it's sink or swim for Juan.
I think it's Ray Beltran.
Ray Beltran. Sorry, Maya.
And what did I say?
Miguel Beltran.
Oh, my bad. Raimundo Beltran. And this is a good fight for both. This is a fight that is where Diaz is at Is he truly back? Because remember, Ronnie Shields declined to train him because he felt that he needed to stay retired. So we're going to see, is Diaz back for real? And we're going to see, does Ray really deserve? Because he had a good win over Ricky Burns, but he didn't get the credit. He's got the good win over Lundy. But we got to see, could he keep moving forward? Could he keep continuously winning? But, you know, I do want to talk about that Broner thing because, you know, he's hot right now in the media for his comments. Now, I brought this up on Twitter, and I got a fucking problem.
Hey, Ness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ray Beltran is out of that card, by the way.
Who replaced?
Really?
He apparently has an issue, or his manager had an issue, and right now he's officially off that card.
Wow.
I'm sure they'll fix things in time.
Well, that's my Omaha guy said. That's what Bob was saying. That Ray Beltran is off.
That sucks. That would have been a great fight.
So Broner is officially suspended until he makes an apology for saying in his post-fight interview, "I've beaten Africans and I just beat the fuck out of a Mexican." Now, the problem with this statement is that they're taking the direct quote. He started off saying the same thing we've been hearing for years, because Broner didn't make that up. Yeah, he didn't make that shit up. Because if you guys hadn't heard it before, then it's a fucking East Coast thing, because I heard it before. But my point is, he said it on HBO. He said it on HBO before. So now why is this racist? Because he added the 4-letter word fuck?
You know, I was...
Because of the Donald Sterling shit, and everybody's all on their fucking toes right now and walking on eggshells, so they're looking for fingers to point at people, and now this is being blown the fuck out of proportion.
I wouldn't say that this is precedent at all, but I watched the fight with about, I don't know, maybe it was like 25, 30 Hispanics, and a few of them are actually from Mexico. Everyone laughed. Like, I didn't take no offense to it. I've heard him say it before. You know, I can see why they deemed it inappropriate, but I can't see why any sanctioning body would try to take action on him like that. That's just ridiculous. I don't know. I mean, I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like it was dumb. I think that, you know, you can't censor someone to that degree. I mean, that's his whole appeal. And you know what the other thing that really pisses me off is where Jim Gray gets off being, you know, the potty mouth police. He did the same thing with Arreola, and I covered that fight in Corpus when Arreola fought, I don't remember who it was, but he fought somebody on that triple header, the last Paul Williams fight, and that's when he said, you know, Don King's a fucking racist, and Jim Gray got on him. And then we were at the post-fight, and Arreola's on the mic, and he says, you know, Jim, I just want to apologize. I'm sorry. You know, I got heated, and I apologize. And afterwards, Jim Gray's talking to some Showtime execs and a few of the media, and he's saying, well, you know, there are things that I'll put up with, and there are things that I won't. And I just feel like, you know, maybe it's my place, maybe it's not, but as long as I have the mic, I'm not going to stand for it. It's like, where do you get off? Like, it's Showtime. You know what I mean? It's pay-per-view. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like they have the G rating. You know, they're not fighting on Disney. And, you know, not that I'm like, oh, I want to hear profanity. Like, I don't care. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's not Jim Gray's place to try to censor people, you know?
Absolutely, man. We do have a couple of quotes from Richard Schaefer, and I interviewed Oscar De La Hoya today about this. Now, the funny thing is, I don't remember what publication put it out, but they basically said that Oscar was upset over what Broner said. Now, I interviewed him, and I'm going to have it out on video, where things cannot be coerced or changed and manipulated. And he said he hadn't even heard what Broner said. Now, I don't know who the fuck is lying. And I will say this, since we're talking about De La Hoya and we will be talking about Schaefer, that De La Hoya is back, guys. He's back. This last rehab trip did it. He's back. He's talking. He's excited. Definitely go check out the New York press conference. I put it out on the YouTube channel. Check it out and check out how De La Hoya is acting. He's so excited and he's he just has a lot of enthusiasm, and even his skin looks fucking good. But I mean, why wouldn't his skin look good? He's fucking rich, living in Puerto Rico. You know how that is. Let me take it out to the streets. We got a shitload of callers. Let's run through some here. Oh, alumni. I love when the alumni call in.
With the blood of a Scottish warrior coursing through his veins, this man proclaimed,
I fucking love boxing. Yo, what's up, guys?
What up? What up?
That's dope.
I fucking love boxing. Guys, I just wanted to talk about Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy and
Ricky Burns.
That situation. Can someone explain to me how Richard Schaefer can sign fighters for Al Heyman? Like, I thought Al Heyman was a manager. And is that not why Oscar De La Hoya is getting angry?
Well, I spoke to De La Hoya today, and he said that things are being worked out and that there will be no separation. I pitched the no-compete contract clause at him. I mean, you're going to have to wait for me to... I think I put the video up as well. That video might be up already because he kind of danced around it a little bit, you know, but, you know, I tried, man. I tried. You're going to hear other people there asking bullshit. You know, I tried. So that's all I can really tell you. He just said that they are, you know, fixing things, that Schaefer isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, and they also Ringside Robbie. Man, this guy is fucking full of hate. What's wrong with this guy? What is your problem with Amir Khan? What else has he got to do before you give him credit? He fucking schooled Collazo. And no one is giving him any credit.
In my defense, because I'm not giving him too much credit, is that I felt like I saw a lot of technical flaws with him. I saw that his chin. It's almost like when you look at what the fact that he's almost reverted to a different type of fight style. He doesn't go in and out like he used to, and that's exactly what his offense needs. He gets caught too much. That he got caught with that left hand or that right hook quite a few times. He sits against the rope, and when he's in trouble, he holds. So I guess holding is, I guess, you could say it's a good technique and a good measure, but there's other things you could do to come back to holding. You don't have to hold as like a last resort or as a first resort is what he was doing. The problem is that a lot of people like you were holding Collazo's knockout over a washed-up Victor Ortiz so high. If this was the Luis Collazo pre-Victor Ortiz, would you be saying the same thing that you're saying right now? I don't think so.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
I would.
Simple as that.
Why wouldn't I? Everyone
he
was
lost to
picking
Freddie
Collazo.
Hernandez pretty decisively. He lost to Shane Mosley. He had a close fight with Ricky Hatton. What was Ricky Hatton's greatest win? I don't mean to talk shit and piss off the UK callers, but it's not like Ricky Hatton is all-time great. He's a good fighter, don't get me wrong. Okay, Costa Zizou. Okay, so that's it. That's his best win, right?
Costa Zizou's a Hall of Famer.
There's plenty of people with wins over Hall of Fame. You're okay. So maybe that was the wrong point to make, but you know what I'm saying.
No, but it was at a weaker time in
You're holding Collazo in too high of a regard and not really breaking this down. I loved Khan for the longest time, but then all of a sudden things start happening where I'm just kind of like, when I say I loved him, I thought he was a great fighter. I thought he was a great talent. But then he always has these technical flaws, as in getting caught too much, not having the greatest of defense, right? His jab was slower. He was almost slower in this fight than he did. It seemed like he worked on certain things that he didn't even need to work on, like a power. I felt Khan's power was always there because of his speed. When you're that fast, you have a little bit of pop behind you. Now he slowed down, which was 90% of his game was his speed. I felt like, to me anyway, it seemed like he slowed down a little bit.
Let me ask you a question.
Your perception of Luis Collazo is tainting your ability to see exactly what Amir Khan is. You're telling me right now that he could beat someone in the top 5 of the welterweight division, because I want you to name who you think he could beat in the top 5.
James, let me ask you a question real quick before he answers. You know, because I mean, whether people remember or not, I was really high on Khan. I still think he is a talented fighter that could do things in the future if he gets his act right. But James, you touched on something. Let me ask you: do you think that what he is at this point and the things that he's kind of reverted to, like those were the words that you used, is indicative of the switching of the trainers? Do you think that this kind of falls on Virgil Hill, on my bad, on what's his name? Virgil Hunter, my bad. Do you feel like that falls on his shoulders a bit?
It's tough because it's I don't know if it's enough of a change where you could say someone that, like, you could specifically point out the trainer and be like, you fucked him up. Because I think that what he went through is almost what anyone would have could have gone through. Like, if he was still with Freddie Roach, I still think he'd still be in the same area. I feel like he focused too much on strength and conditioning when he really didn't need that as much. I felt like he could have got a little bit bigger without getting bigger, if that makes sense, without adding on all the muscle that's going to slow you down. Because when you have that much extra weight on you, to me, it clearly showed that he was slowed down. He doesn't have that bounce in his step like he used to. He was kind of more flat-footed, I guess, if you can use the term in this fight. And 90% of what he used to do was that specific thing. So with that taken away, the fact that his chin is still extremely suspect to me, and the fact that I never inflated Collazo. I even picked him against Ortiz. So it's just like, I don't know, man. I'm always waiting and holding my breath because I felt like Amir Khan for the longest time with that guy from Britain was going to be like, damn, that guy really impressed me. When you see him against Zab Judah, whether you think that was a low blow or not, or you see him against Paul Malignaggi, who was the first to stop Malignaggi. He was impressive in the early part of his career, but for whatever happened, it stopped being impressive. Even after British Prescott, he still was impressive. But for whatever reason, I don't know if it was a mental thing where his ego got to him, for whatever reason, and whatever it is, he's just not the Amir Khan that I thought he was. And until he proves me wrong, I'm going to have to say that he's not as impressive. I don't know. MV2, grill me, bro.
Nonsense. His best win of his career, and you're saying that he's not the same fighter? Come on, man.
What do you mean?
You're just full of hate.
Are you talking about Paul Malignaggi or Zab Judah?
No, the one against Collazo. It's not the name itself. It's how he performed. He lost 2 rounds against Collazo at best. He schooled him completely, man. Listen, I'm not Amir Khan's biggest fan, but you've got to give credit when it's due.
You sound like
if he was to fight.
That's what I was going to say.
Like Amir Khan's biggest fan.
You absolutely do. It seems like you jumped ship from Ricky Burns, and now you're on Khan's bandwagon.
He's got to put all that love somewhere, Ness.
I support the guys who are the underdogs, who everybody shits on.
Don't you?
He's not the underdog. Are you kidding me? He's a favorite in every fight he's ever been in.
Khan is like the touted golden boy, man.
Okay, so who picked Collazo out of this panel?
Me.
I did. Oh, I did. No.
Put your hand up.
I picked them.
I didn't, and that was based on exactly what James said. It wasn't so much what I believe in Khan, even though I do believe in Khan. It was more like James, kind of alluded to, was the fact that I think people held Collazo in a certain esteem after getting that knockout over Ortiz that he probably didn't deserve. I don't think Khan's a bad fighter. You're never going to hear me say I think Khan's a bad fighter. I think he's gone in a bad direction for the last couple years. I think ever since the Danny Garcia fight, there's been problems. But I thought he fought a really great fight against Peterson. I thought he did some great things in the last few years. But I will say that what he did against Collazo, what he's been doing the last few fights against Julio Diaz and some of the other guys, I thought he hasn't looked good. He really hasn't. He hasn't looked good, and it's hard for me to say that because I am a Khan believer. I really am.
Well, Mario, I've been calling this show long enough that I actually remember who you are.
I know you have, man. So you know that I've been a Khan. You know I've been a Khan supporter.
You have been, but
and MV2, and let me just interrupt you. You've been calling into this show long enough to know that I am a Khan
hater.
Exactly. So my pick of Collazo was not based on Collazo beating Ortiz or thinking he could beat Khan. My pick of Collazo over Khan is because I'm consistent, and Khan's a fucking bum in my eyes. He lost to Peterson. He lost to Prescott. This dude's got win over Salida. He fought a Drain Malignaggi. He cheated in the Judah fight. And let's just give him credit. Let's not even say he cheated. All right, he knocked Judah out. Big fucking deal. Biggest win, Corey Spinks. Ortiz.
Zab Judah's biggest win. No.
Yes. Zab Judah's biggest win is Corey Spinks. So who the fuck cares about Super Zab doing nothing but being a failure his whole career? Okay? And Maidana was cheated. In the 10th round, he got deducted a point for an elbow that was never thrown, let alone landed. And, come on, any decent referee would have stopped that fight in the 10th round. Credit to Khan. And for you fucking guys that stalk me on Twitter with this Khan shit, hear what I'm saying. I'm talking bad about him, but I'm giving him credit now by saying credit to Khan for getting through that round and being able to get that fight into a W. You know, he even dropped Maidana in the beginning of the fight, but he's consistently looked like the victim in every fight. He's always running. He's always pushing. He's always holding. He can't take the heat. He needs to get the fuck out of the kitchen. You are just blind in one eye.
I'll give him credit for having a great offensive game and great heart, but that's about it. That's all I can give him right now.
Whatever. Let's get back to these quotes, man, because the topic is Broner, and I want to hear some of the thoughts of these callers, man. Actually, MV2, you're on here. Did you mind Adrian Broner adding, you know, doing his little HBO I'm the Can Man's bit on Showtime? Did you think it was racial?
No, I don't see the problem. Like, Mexican, is that a race? It's a nationality. So, if you call somebody a Mexican, I don't understand. Is it a race?
I mean, I guess you could say it in a derogatory sense, but I mean, you could say like, "Oh, you fucking Mexican."
He's a white Mexican. So which race is he insulting?
I don't know.
Yeah, you're right.
I just want to know, what did he do differently when he said it on HBO after the, what was it, Escobedo?
I mean, it was a stupid comment, but it wasn't racist. Like,
yeah, it was a stupid comment, but it wasn't racist. Exactly. Vic said it perfect.
You know, you're gonna hear the people that say, "Oh, you know, if Molina said, oh, I beat that black guy's ass," I mean, yeah, it might have caused some uproar. I mean, I wouldn't care. Like I didn't have a problem with Freddie Roach calling whoever effing Jew. Like, just because he used the word F in front of it, you know, that's racist. Oh, you effing Mexican? That's racist? I don't know. To me, it's bullshit. It's WBC doing stupid shit as they usually do. Whatever.
And even that was like a little different to me. Like I can see where a Jewish community would have a problem with the way he like kind of like the way he was derogatory in saying it. Like it's like he said it like being a Jew's a bad thing, you know? And so I can even see where there's like even a problem with that, but I don't. That to me, those are like two completely different comments. Like you know, he went into his bit. You know what I mean? Like, would we chastise you know, George Lopez for saying wetback, or would we chastise you know, Chris Rock for using the N-word? Like, I don't think we wouldn't, because it's their bit. They're in there, and yeah, maybe you know, Adrian Broner's not a comedian per se, but he sure as hell looked like one on Saturday night. I mean, you know, He's a clown, dude. He's a clown. You know where he belonged? You know where he belonged? He belonged with the rest of the clowns that came out walking Mayweather out. That's where he should have been. That's where he should have been. He should have been right there with them, because it was a clown comment. It was dumb. It wasn't really funny at all. But at the end of the day, I didn't find it racist. And I am Hispanic. I have my great-great-grandparents are from Mexico. I mean, to me, it wasn't. I don't know. I didn't see it racist at all. And the WBC.
Mario, I'm so glad you brought that shit up, because I forgot to talk about that bullshit. And that was some bullshit. Fucking bringing a circus out? Like, come on.
You didn't like that? I like that for some reason. I can't believe you didn't like that. That was theatrical.
James, you know, this is going to be the first time that I fucking play your ass out on this show, but you must be from the fucking country or something to want to see fucking clowns doing fucking whatever that, I don't even know what that's called, juggling. Come on, man, that was some dumbass dumb shit. It's a boxing match. You got these people taking up room and shit, throwing shit in the air with red noses. Man, what the fuck is Floyd thinking? And then, listen to the irony in that shit. The circus comes out, then fucking Rick Ross and 2 Chainz. Like, what the fuck are we watching? And to make things even more fucked up, because this was a big-ass pot of bullshit that he served us, right? So he sprinkled some 2 Chainz and Rick Ross, some clowns and red noses. All that was missing was an elephant. And then he comes out with Justin Bieber. Now, what is this shit? If that's not alternative, I don't know what the fuck is. The mixture of all this bullshit going on. We just want to see fights. We don't want to see all this garbage. I don't. Anyway, let's take it to the streets, man. Let me see here. 702, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this? 702. 702.
I think that's me, Robert Ortiz.
What up?
Oh, I couldn't hear it because you were talking over the lady who tells me I'm unmuted. But yeah, I guess I wanted to make a quick comment on that Broner thing. I have a couple notes to get on after reflecting on this Mayweather-Maidana fight. But real quick on the Broner thing, I mean, you can't really dictate who gets offended by what as far as, you know, racism is concerned. But, you know, what Adrian Broner said is, you know, I beat the fuck out of a Mexican. He didn't say I beat the fuck out of him because he was Mexican. In other words, saying he's less than me.
That's a good point.
I don't find it racist at all. But the problem with the WBC is, okay, if people fucking always hating on because they fucking suck, how are you going to not strip Floyd Mayweather when he goes to jail? All the bullshit that he does, he fucking beats on his baby's mama, goes to jail, is found guilty of that shit, but yet Adrian Broner says something like that and you're going to ban him. And you're not going to ban him when he said all that shit before and won your title and he was fucking making you money, it wasn't a problem, but now that he's not necessarily making you money, you're going to ban him. It's fucking, it's ridiculous to me. I think that sanctioning body is just a fucking joke. It's like you try to make a stance, but it just falls hollow because it's pointless. You can't fucking 1 minute, you know, try to be a civil servant and then the next minute you're fucking lying and stripping people who don't deserve to be stripped. It's ridiculous. They stripped Sergio Martinez for no fucking reason and gave it to Chavez Jr. A bullshit title. They're giving Stiverne and Arreola a shot at the title before Vladimir. You know, titles mean something when they really mean something, but that whole sanctioning body is just a bunch of bullshit, you know?
Well, Rob, let's not forget that the alleged racism in this comment is coming from the WBC, and this is why they're taking action. You know, they want an apology, but let's not forget that they're biased. It's a Mexican sanctioning body. What the fuck? And why is the world forgetting that he said Africans as well? He said anybody can get it. Africans. I just beat the fuck out of a Mexican. He didn't exclude his own fucking race.
Yeah, by that very token, he's being non-discriminative, if that's the right word.
Exactly.
He is including well, very own token. He's doing the opposite of what they're saying he's doing. So
is that these people want headlines? They want traffic, man. They're thirsty, these motherfuckers. That's what it is.
Well, to speak to Rob's point too, if they would have let him finish, he would have said Dominicans and he would have said Puerto Ricans. He would have finished the same thing, you know.
And one thing I can tell Broner is he's right. He beat the shit out of a Dominican in his weight class. That is, you know, because we suck.
But again, like, just to reiterate, the problem I have with it is that it's so hypocritical because the thing is, that's how he sells fight. One of you said, I think it was you, Mario, who said it a minute ago. That's how he makes his money, saying crazy shit like that. So if you're going to ban him and tell him to keep his mouth shut, then he's not going to be able to sell. So if he doesn't sell, then you're not going to make any money.
That's a great point.
That shit. You better not charge him for a sanctioning fee.
Exactly. Yeah, they're not going to ban his sanctioning fee money.
Good point, Rob.
Great point.
Hey Rob, I'm gonna keep you on, but I want to get through some callers real quick. Don't just mute your.
Can I just? I wanted to, because I wrote down some notes. I don't have a lot of time now. You know, actually, just real quick again before I forget, just a quick thing on you know, the whole Golden Boy, you know, their whole civil war that they got going on. You know, myself, I'm a musician, so I deal with drug addicts all the time, and I'm dealing with one right now. Believe me, it's not easy. So, you know, although Oscar De La Hoya seems full of life and, you know, and he seems very excited to work on his company, okay, well, next month, is he going to be on another fucking bender and missing from the company and Schaefer's pulling all the way? That's things that you got to think about when you're running a company, and why Richard Jeffers says, I'm not going to fucking work with Bob Arum, because you get tired of shit and you at some point have to put your foot down. But anyways, okay, moving on from that, I just wanted to give you a few notes, and I'll let you guys go. I have 5 of them. First of all, on the Floyd versus Maidana fight. The Maidana fight, dude, I watched it again last night. I cannot believe, I feel so stupid in the way I scored it. That was not a freaking gnarly-ass, the rounds that Maidana won, they weren't gnarly, man. He didn't dominate those early rounds like I initially thought. Floyd was making him miss over and over. So the round that I initially thought that Maidana won cleanly, for the most part, he didn't, aside from round 1. And then round that I thought Floyd won, maybe I could give one to Maidana. And then the next point was, why do people favor Pacquiao's ineffective aggressiveness against Bradley, but not Maidana? That's one thing that doesn't make sense to me. Because Manny, in that first fight with Bradley, he was not landing shit. So, you know what I mean? I think...
What did you... Wait, say that again, Rob? Say that again, Rob? What you said, why do people favor Pacquiao's... Oh, my bad. Just go ahead and say it.
Why in the first fight with Tim Bradley, why did people favor Manny Pacquiao's ineffective aggressiveness? He wasn't landing that much on Bradley. Outside of like 2 rounds, I think it was the 4th and 5th, where he was connecting with those lefts. Outside of that, dude, he was making a miss. And we've gone over it within this show, but so many people cried robbery. But on this fight, they're crying robbery again. But a lot more people are more open to the fact that Floyd won. They're saying he won 7-5. I just don't understand biasness.
Well, that's a good point. I get what you're saying, yeah.
And then the other thing, dude, Maidana, like, for having that good of a showing, you got to think about what we thought of Floyd Mayweather. I was asking him to move up to 160 pounds to face real competition, because no one was in his class. And for Maidana to keep up with him, that's just insane to me. And the fact that Mayweather, who faced his toughest competitor, was able to adjust shows how great he truly is. Like, I can't believe that he went through all that shit, for all the complaining, all the holding. It was a tough fight, and he hung in there, and he fucking won the fight. But my last thing, I'll let you guys go. I know I'm long-winded here. But the last thing is, I'm actually glad that in a close fight like this, that Maidana didn't get the benefit of the doubt. And I talked to you, James, about this on Twitter. That O that Floyd has is a freaking multi-$100 million zero, if not $1 billion zero. You know, and the fact that Maidana didn't get the benefit of the doubt, I'm cool with that, because why? Like, picture if he really got that, if they gave him the benefit of the doubt, it would have been controversial. And for Floyd to lose what has now become a historical unbeaten streak, it would have been a bit of a shame to lose it in controversial fashion. I'm glad they gave him the benefit of the doubt. I know for the most part we say taking it from the champ is a bullshit statement, but in this case I think it applied, and I'm glad that they didn't give Maidana the benefit of the doubt. So that's all. I just reflecting on it. It was a great fucking fight, man. I'm glad we got to see that.
All right. Let's go down the line with some of these callers. 951, you're live. Who's this?
Josh.
What up?
You guys hear me?
What up?
You guys hear me?
We hear you, brother. Talk to us.
All right. Hey, I wanted to talk about the Gamboa Crawford fight. And what I want to say is that I think that Crawford, it's slight edge for Crawford, 50-50 fight. I'm glad it's happening. Gamboa may have the speed advantage, maybe power advantage, but that Crawford being able to fight out of that southpaw stance and have that jab, that great jab, I just slightly favor him. And then I wanted to talk about Chavez Jr. GGG, and what do you guys think about what happened today? Apparently, Bob Arum decided not to give him 100%. Or what did they say? The story was the fight's not happening now, basically.
Yeah, well, Chavez turned down numerous offers and a significant amount of money. He didn't want an extension.
Yeah, I don't blame him for not wanting an extension though, because he didn't want to get trapped in that. And I mean, they only offered him a third of what they initially offered him with the extension. A third. They should have at least given him half if he wasn't going to sign the extension of their initial offers. I mean, something like that. And that's a great fight. How do you let that fight not happen?
Well, let's be fair. He still was going to make more than Triple G, and Vic could correct me on this if I'm wrong, but Triple G makes over $1 million to fight on HBO, right, Vic?
Well, unofficially, but officially his highest payday was $400 against Kurt Stevens.
Come on, Vic. Impossible that they both made $400,000.
I'm just going off what's reported to the commission. So
no way that the A side makes the same as the B side unless it's a 50-50 fight. 951, I hope we answered your questions. Thank you for calling in. And everyone else can do so at 646-478-3068 or Skype us by going to the blog talk / of course, the Boxing Voice, and click on the Skype button. Tender Lovin', what's up? Tender Lovin',
hey,
you are live.
Guys? Hey, I just wanted to, I'm gonna have to disagree with you guys on the Crawford or the Crawford Gamboa fight. Gamboa's gonna whoop that ass, man.
Well,
you're not disagreeing with Ness.
Just let's be fair here. I don't like it when everyone bunches us together. I pick Crawford, so you're talking to me. I don't know who Vic has, or Mario, or James. But James, you can say that now if you want. I think you're still there, yeah.
You already said
Crawford. I said I got Crawford.
Okay, so we both got Crawford.
It's a 50-50 fight, though.
What about you, Mario?
Yeah, I think it's a 50-50 fight. I'm with James, but I do have Crawford. I think we've seen too much go tip from one side of the scale to the other, but I don't disagree with the caller at all. I mean, to me, it's a 50-50 fight. I won't be surprised, if either one of them wins by a close margin or dominates the other. I can't wait, man. This is gonna be a great fight.
Vic, who you got?
I got Terrence Crawford, man.
All the way around the board.
Yes, baby, yes.
I think lightweight's too big for Gamboa.
Maybe it wasn't good enough.
I think this division's too big for Gamboa.
Hey, caller, how you like those apples? You got the whole panel against you.
I got one more question, guys. What do you guys think about the real fight of the month, the DeGale Gonzalez fight?
I love it. I can't wait.
What do you guys think has the advantage in that fight?
Oh, man, listen. I did a lot of watching of the DeGale fights, but that Astuzian win for Brandon Gonzalez, because I know it's a draw, but officially that should be a win. And that's a big win for me. Now, it's starting to drop down just a little bit because I've been hearing rumors that Astuzian got let go by his promoter because he's an alcoholic. So if this is another Kelly Pavlik problem, then I don't know how high that win is. But you got DeGale on the other hand, who I also feel beat what's this kid this fighting Frotch name? Groves, and that's a pretty good win, based on how well Groves did in his performance with Frotch. But at the end of the day, he lost. I'm gonna stick to my guns on this one because I'm a fucking hater. So I'm gonna go with the half Hispanic, half American. So we're gonna call him a Mexican, a merry Mexican. I'm gonna go with Brandon Gonzalez against all my UK haters out there. So line it up. I'm ready to eat my crow. I'm taking Gonzalez.
You don't think
Yeah,
Gonzalez
so
is
am I.
going to get robbed, though, in the UK?
Nah.
Nah, it's up.
You've been quite the optimist lately, to be honest.
He's not Ricky
Quite the
Burns. I mean, excuse me, he's not Beltran. Gonzalez is kind of dominant because of the mauling style. It was funny when we interviewed him. He said he doesn't fight like Ward. Yeah, right, Ray.
Wait, are they using neutral judges in the fight or what?
Yeah, from what I've read, there is neutral judges, and it's just going to be on a big stage. This fight's going to be televised by HBO, so
That's a cool feature.
they're not going to just rob.
Yeah, they're not gonna.
Yeah, they're not.
I would no. See, I don't know. I wouldn't put it past. I mean, in boxing, nothing would surprise me at all. I really wouldn't be surprised to see him rob. But I do think James DeGale is going to win the fight. Yeah, I'm gonna go with DeGale on this one. It's kind of been a long time coming for us to see him really. I remember his performance against Davis. I think it was right. And then we've seen him a few times on Wealth TV and or A&W TV or whatever. I like him. I like his style. I think he's the kind of fighter who, if he can minimize the mistakes, he's a guy who can be troublesome at the very least for anyone. And Gonzalez, to me, I've seen him have mental lapses in the ring at times. The Thuzian fight was his to win. I really feel like that. And he kind of let him back in the fight. I don't know. To me, I feel like DeGale's got the slight edge, but it should be a good fight. I really do think both their styles, and DeGale's the kind of guy who will accommodate a fighter like Gonzalez. You know what I mean? Like, he'll allow him to get in, mix it up. It should be fun one way or the other, but I got DeGale on this one.
Mario, I'm going to go back and watch that Estusian fight. It's on HBO Go for anybody that wants to watch. I'm going to go back and watch that because, like I've been saying for a couple of weeks now, I really like DeGale. I like him. I think that his power is underrated. I know a lot of UK guys say that he doesn't have power. I think that he does. Every time I've seen him hit somebody, he's made them rethink, and that's big. 10 to 11, I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to get to some other callers here. Ken, you're live. Talk to us, brother.
You guys hear me?
Loud and clear.
So I just want to come back real quick to the Golden Boy thing, and it's really more of a question because some of you guys have inside news. Whatever happened, when they first started that company, wasn't it Marco Antonio Barrera, Hopkins, Oscar, and Shane Mosley? And it seems like the only guy who was smart enough to keep his hands in the business was Bernard Hopkins, and Mosley and Barrera just disappeared. They built that company using these stars' names and stuff. So I was just wondering, every time I look on the screen, I see Bernard Hopkins right there next to Richard Schaefer, and I'm assuming he's getting paid, even when he's not fighting. Do you guys know anything about that?
Well, Mosley gave up his share when he fought Pacquiao. That was part of the deal. They let him out so that he could give. So that was the thing, is he fought Pacquiao knowing that he was going to give up his portion, which I think it was, if Vic knows for sure, but I think it was like 2-point-something%, maybe. That might even be too much. But he gave up his. Barrera, oh man, I don't remember. Vic, do you remember what happened with Barrera? Because he did have a share, I remember.
I don't remember. I'd have to look that up, dude. I don't. I mean, I know Shane gave up part of it to leave to get the Pacquiao fight, but I don't remember what happened with Barrera.
But you're right. Hopkins is the only smart one. You're right. That was a good point.
Remember when Shane did do that? There was articles all around the web talking about that he got a check for $1,000. You remember?
I don't remember that.
It was either 1,000 or 10,000, but I really want to say it was 1,000. Everybody's favorite caller from Baltimore. That's your cue, Wood. You see? Oh my God! Imagine I would have took the time to make an intro for you. Just imagine I would have took that.
It could have been that bitch Slug, man. Who knows?
Yo, why you always talking shit to Slug? He ain't never did nothing to you.
Man, and nigga talk too much shit, man.
Oh, God.
You let him talk shit. You let him talk shit too. That's why I don't call back, because you ain't gonna let me call back. That's why I was gonna call back. But I know Slug. I'm gonna give you some Baltimore trivia, man. See, can you get this question right now? What's the difference between Slug in a pile of shit?
I don't know.
Nothing. The same damn thing. Hey, hey, nothing. Man, why Bob Arum old ass always trying to rob motherfuckers, get motherfuckers to sign 7 fights, 8 fights or something? If he gonna give you a pay-per-view fight, you gotta sign your motherfucking life away, man. I don't know what's up with that shit, man.
Whatever reason he does it, he's paying for it now.
His old ass is still scheming, man. He's still scheming. He's about 105 years old, but this motherfucker won't stop trying to rip motherfucking boxers off, man. He need to cut that bullshit out. That's why that motherfucker ain't fighting. That's why them people. I don't know why Tim Bradley signed that shit, man. It ain't nobody over there for this motherfucker to fight. And he gonna sign. He gonna have to sign. He gotta sign his life away. And then the thing about it is, these dumb motherfuckers, they need them. They need them. It's not like nobody knocking the door down to get over there. They got a name already, knocking the door down to get over there. So I don't know what's up with. I'm glad. I know I want to see the fight. I want to see a fight. But you know, if the motherfucker don't want to do business with Bob Arum, I can't blame him and shit.
Hey, Wood, the rumor was Guerrero was knocking the door down, trying to get over there.
So Pacquiao fight.
Yeah, for that fight, but he probably wasn't going to sign. They were so desperate for opponent for Pacquiao, he probably wasn't going to sign his life away. He wasn't going to sign his life away, probably. This crazy motherfucker haven't even fought since Mayweather. Yo, what's up with this motherfucker? Yo, nobody. What's up with him?
Well, they just signed Al Heyman.
Real crazy. He hasn't fought since he fought Mayweather.
Yeah,
I can't believe this shit, man. Andre Ward ain't fighting this shit. See, I think, you know why all these motherfucking fighters acting like this, man. Oh, Mikey Garcia starting to do this shit. I think Al Heyman telling all these motherfuckers. He telling these motherfuckers shit, man. He telling these motherfuckers shit, because everybody doing the same thing. Stevenson, Andre Ward, Mikey Garcia, now this motherfucker Chavez. All this shit got the same. They got the same shit written all over. Yeah, is it just me? Do you see the shit yourself now?
I mean, yo, people is just realizing, they like, wait a minute, man, they making more money on Showtime. I gotta go over there.
Man, them motherfuckers ain't making no motherfucker. Man, Tim Bradley made about 5-6 million, and they gave fucking
Maidana 1.5.
What they give Maidana just cracked over fucking million.
Okay.
What the fuck?
Wood,
Fuck that shit.
Listen. Mayweather doesn't pay his opponents a lot. But think outside of Mayweather. Amir Khan made 1.5 to fight Collazo. Who the fuck on Top Rank is making 1.5? I know Ruslan ain't making no 1.5, and he ain't even officially Top Rank. He's with Banner. And I know Crawford ain't making no 1.5. I know Mikey ain't making no 1.5. Donaire, maybe Donaire made 1.5 sometime, right, Vic? I don't even think he did, because he was in a small weight class. Who the fuck is making 1.5 over there? Who?
I think Donaire
did. You got Pacquiao, you got Marquez.
You got Chavez too.
Chavez, Rios made 1.5. You made five for Pacquiao, made over 1 million for Alvarez.
Vic, he made 3 for Pacquiao.
I heard it was 5 after pay-per-view.
Oh, okay, he got an upside. All right, but now you're talking the big fights. That's what I'm saying. Outside of Pacquiao or Mayweather fights, average fighters are making more money on Showtime. I mean, Jay Leone just made 100,000. He made 150, and Carlos Molina made 150 to fight Broner. Like, you see, there's a problem, but that's why fighters are like, yo, I'm out. I'm going over there.
Yeah, but the problem is we're going to see where they're at in a few years. I mean, this was the thing that we talked about ever since Ken Hirschman blackballed Golden Boy. As we said,
Wait a minute, because I smell it like The Rock. I hope you ain't coming from this what if stance of if Showtime runs out of money, because that's not about problem.
No. But see, that's not what that's what I'm saying. It's not about whether or not they run out of money, because I mean that's not even like a point. It gets to a point whether or not they're getting their money back and they start to cut budget. It's not about running out of money. They're not going to run out of money in the sense that, oh, we can't pay nobody no more. It's going to come back, when they reach their, final quarterly and they say, okay, what's the return on these fights? We paid Jalen Love, X amount of dollars. We paid Lucas Matisse X amount of dollars. We paid these guys X amount of dollars. And then where are we at? Are we getting our just return? So then, re-ups, all that kind of stuff, that could accept it. So that's what I'm telling you.
Doing is speculating. You're speculating.
But there's a lot of
may or may not occur.
There's a lot of people, lot of people in this industry right now. A lot of smarter people than I am. Financial type of gurus that are saying that it's a possibility. I mean, you got. There's a lot of people saying that, and I think Wood has a point.
You don't gotta be no financial wizard to be smarter than you, motherfucker.
But listen, hold on, Wood, because you out of control. Listen, Mario, all I'm saying is until there's a report of some sort of financial dip coming from Showtime, which just won an Emmy for Canelo Mayweather All Access, the epilogue. And that's one Emmy of 10. Showtime is making money, brother. And outside of that, again, let's not speculate. Until they stop making money until they stop making fights because of the money, let's not assume that they don't have any money.
Well, let's be real. I mean, we haven't seen much boxing on regular Showtime.
That's true. That's a good point.
I'm hoping it picks up, but I don't like the trend. I don't like the trend. I mean,
that's a fair point.
We got May. They got a pay-per-view in May. Then we got one in July. What's in between?
We had one in March.
Vic, I'm totally glad that you brought this up because someone helped me count. But how many pay-per-views did we get via Top Rank already?
Just one.
Just one.
But what about Bradley Marquez?
That was last year.
That was last year, yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay. So all we got was Pacquiao?
And now we're not going to have Chavez.
I'm not here to say HBO woo, but HBO has fights, what, the 14th? What are we now, 10th? We have a 17th, 24th, and 31st. I'm hoping Showtime picks it up, but...
So wait a minute. There's nothing on deck for May and June, is what you're saying?
There's that June 21st. What's his name?
They got
June 21st. The purse bid. Fucking Lomachenko, Gary Russell. Who Gary Russell's complaining that he's getting less money. So who even knows if he's gonna sign on the dotted line right now?
Showtime's got a Showbox May 16th. And then they come back to Showtime Championship with Adonis Stevenson.
All right. I missed Adonis Stevenson. Totally forgot about him.
In that time, HBO has 3 fights on. They have the Marquez Alvarado the 17th next week. Then they have the same night as the Stevenson Brian Jennings. No.
There's only one pay-per-view that right now. That was
Cotto.
Bradley. Oh, Cotto Martinez.
Martinez is coming up, and then after. See, look on the week of the 17th, it's going to be 3 weeks of HBO boxing. Okay, it's that Alvarado, then the Jennings the next week, and then the following week is going to be the Carl Froch, George Gross. And I love what HBO is doing here because it's a really not star-studded, but it's a full night of boxing. I mean, you got Javier Fortuna on HBO Latino. I think that they're doing the HBO 2 with Donaire, but I could be wrong. That might be regular HBO. And then they got the Carl Froch, George Groves, James DeGale, Brandon Gonzalez.
Well, James DeGale, Brandon Gonzalez isn't on HBO.
Oh, it's not? Oh, that's awful. Whack. That's fucking bullshit, man.
Fucking HBO. See,
I would rather see him over Donaire.
I'm just saying that Showtime right now. I mean, I don't see any. I hope it's gonna pick up soon.
But look, to be fair, Chavez Martinez's pay-per-view. So Showtime only has one up, and that's because Canelo July 12th. And like I told Brian Campbell, I'd pay $140 for Canelo Lara. So they only one step ahead of them. It's not like Showtime is flooding us with pay-per-views and Top Rank is not, and HBO.
Yeah, but think about it in this sense. We already have, we had Canelo once, all right? Now we're going to have Canelo twice. We had Mayweather. Presumably we're going to have Mayweather again, and I'm assuming we're going to have Canelo again. If, he's saying that he wants to fight again for sure before the year closes out. I don't see him going back to regular Showtime. I mean, we have 5 pay-per-views from Showtime when it's all said and done.
Well, Canelo said that if he beats Lara, or when he beats Lara, he's going to fight Mayweather again. So we might get Mayweather in September versus Canelo, because if Canelo tells Mayweather, like, I want to fight you, I'm pretty sure Mayweather's going to say okay, because now he sees what he can generate.
And that Lara fight will be, I think, good enough for most people to assume that it gives him a fighting chance, or at least a little more than he would have normally.
Absolutely. If he beats Lara and he wants a Mayweather fight, it's justified in my eyes. 403, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this?
Yo, hey guys, it's Jose calling. How you guys doing?
What up, brother?
Good to see Mario back in existence, man. I thought he was deported. Somebody started that false rumor, man. Good to see Mario back.
What's up, man?
I think I actually started it, but whatever. Anyway, man.
You got me confused with the other Carlos Molina too. So.
Hey, since you brought him up, speaking of Carlos Molina, congratulations to him, man. He's out of jail, back in Mexico, after being held for 2 months. And his promoter told ESPN that his next title defense will likely take place in Mexico, but there hasn't been any reports of him being deported or anything. Maybe he had to go back to fix visa issues or anything, but he wasn't deported, which is a good thing.
Definitely.
So shout out to Carlos Molina, man. We're glad to have you back. I really felt bad that he would have possibly been stripped in there, like after, because he had a tough career. I mean, he had what, 2 losses versus Chavez that everybody thought he won back in the day. Then he had to fight with Lara that people thought he won. I mean, this guy's he came up the hard fucking way, and he's been in the ring with everybody. Mm-hmm. And, it would have been really suckety for him to lose his fucking title in jail. But Jose, the Canadian sensation, the fucking hourglass ball, know all, tell all, picking them all right. I was with your boy today, and I'm glad that you're on, because I got this right here for all you guys out there. This is the official Canelo Lara press kit. I'm going to be giving that away along with this. Got my good friend. Let me see. There we go. Bam! My good friend, Canelo Alvarez. Signed another glove for, you guys, and hopefully, one of you lucky bastards gets it. Jose, take it away.
Well, this time it'll be me, man. I'm going to go for it now, man. But anyway, man, Canelo, I think this is a good fight for him, man, Lara, because it's going to kind of test him a little bit. He's going to have to not try to be a boxer that he wants to be, man. Against Floyd, he tried to be too fancy, and if he would have fought like Maidana did, I think without a doubt he would have beat the shit out of Floyd, man. That's my opinion. So I think against Lara, Lara's slick. He's going to try to pull the same things, and I think Canelo's got to try to change his style a bit, man. And against boxers, he's got to brawl them, and against brawlers, he's got to box them, right? So I'm looking forward to the fight, and I honestly think that Canelo's going to make easy work out of Lara, man. I predict a stoppage.
Jose, you and I haven't had the opportunity to bet, and this may be our first bet, because I am definitely going Lara, and I will not lie and say that I'm not a bit nervous. I am. But again, I implore you guys to go and check out this New York press conference. It was a lot of tension in that stare-off in the very beginning, and boy, does Lara have some swag. These guys are very similar in size as far as height. Clearly, Lara's a lot slimmer than Canelo, but this is a very even fight in terms of physical, but I don't know, man. I'm just such a guy that believes in resume, and Laura's just been more tested than Canelo, to be honest. And you know, while Canelo, oh, some fun facts too, by the way, Jose. I don't even know if you know this, but they both beat Trout by decision, which of course I'm sure you know that. But the weird thing is they both beat Angulo by 10th round knockout. That's some fucking spooky shit. That they got two common opponents and they beat them the same way. Now, granted, your boy Canelo definitely beat Angulo a lot better and in a better fashion, but Ronnie Shields had this to say from the press conference, Vic. He said, yeah, we beat him first, and what we did to him, he wasn't the same, and that's why, you know, Canelo was able to look as good as he did. Now, City Scan, at City Scan, clearly, Jose, what do you think about what Ronnie Shields had to say about basically saying that they damaged Angulo? And don't forget that that was a huge hematoma around his eye, brother. So do you think there's any truth to that?
Well, maybe he hurt Angulo's hands because Angulo knocked him the fuck out twice, right? So I could see that maybe happening. But other than that, man, I think it's horseshit, man. Like there's no way. Angulo, clearly a diminished boxer. Like let's be honest. You know, Angulo's a bum, and he knocked down the superior boxing technician twice, man. So there's nothing that he did to wear him down, man. So I'm not frightened at all, and I'm glad Mario's on the line because you know we were two Canelo advocates years ago, and I think come July, man, it's going to be our vindication, man, and everyone's going to be able to salute the Kings, man, once and for all.
Definitely.
I hear you, brother. All right, let's keep it in the streets because I know you guys been holding for a long time. Uli, what is the deal?
What's going on, guys?
Chilling.
What's up, brother?
Welcome back, Mario.
Thanks, man.
My friend.
Thanks, man.
I'm going to kind of jump around a little bit. The first thing is I was ringside for us in Montreal for that Gamboa fight against Darlis Perez, I think his name was. Man, this dude, his power was non-existent, man. The fact that he was hitting him flush all night long and wasn't able to get him out of there really didn't bode well. So it's a quick comment I'm going to make on this fight coming up against Crawford. Crawford has the ability to box his pants off, for one. And I don't think Gamboa has the power to stop him. So I'm a little bit concerned for Gamboa, not only as, you know, if he gets a loss on his resume, but even if he wins and does so in a non-impressive fashion, I mean, what's this dude going to do? I mean, he was even more boring in that fight than, you know, they say Rigondeaux was. I mean, I was a big fan of that fight. You know, the Rigondeaux-Donaire fight, you know, people say that was boring, but I love that big technical, you know, 12 rounds just, you know, rocking somebody like he did Donaire. Totally different types of fighters. But I guess my question to you guys is, win or lose, what's there for Gamboa? I mean, what does he do if he beats? What does he have to do in order for him to regain what he had 4 years ago when he was being hailed as the next big thing in the lower weight classes?
Well, for starters, he's definitely got to win this fight, which he will not be doing. I just don't trust this guy's chin, and no one has been consistent enough. There hasn't been a good fighter that he's fought. Like, Salido is a good brawler. He's not a technical fighter. He's not a guy that's going to come in and work behind a jab and also go up and down. He's a guy that's probably going to go down and go up when he's got you against the ropes. I mean, he is what he is. But who's Gamboa be that looks like Crawford? Because Crawford has passed the eye test, let's be honest. And the Ricky Burns win is big. The Prescott win is a good win. And that fight that you guys call boring, I'm not giving him any credit for that fight because I never even heard of that dude. I don't even remember his name. But it wasn't a boring fight to me. I liked that fight.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you're going to give him credit for the Prescott and the Burns fight, I mean, I got to give credit for Gamboa, for Salido, and Ponce de Leon. Now, I understand what you're saying. Those aren't the kind of fighters and those weren't the kind of fights that make you believe that he could do the same thing against Crawford. I mean, it's completely out of context. Crawford's a completely different fighter, and I 100% agree with you. But I want to touch on Yuli's point, because that's a really fascinating point that he brings up. What does Gamboa have to do in this fight to kind of gain back some of that momentum that he lost a few years ago? And my answer, personally, just my opinion, is there's nothing he can do. He can blitz Crawford, and to me, it really doesn't matter because Crawford doesn't have that kind of appeal. Like, what are you going to sell to a casual fan to try to make a Gamboa Manny Pacquiao off of a Crawford? No way. That's not going to happen. It just won't happen. At the end of the day, what you're going to see is you're going to see, Gamboa. I think he will lose, but even if he does beat him by the slimmest razor thin of margin, or if he comes out and blitzes him, it really doesn't matter. I don't think it'll hold any weight. I think Gamboa's in a really tough situation. He wanted that Garcia fight. He would have been in a much better position in that Garcia fight, because a win, I think, is much more notable than a Crawford. Crawford's still relatively unknown to casual fans, and to me, I don't think there's one thing that he can do, outside of uppercutting him into 4 stands and making Sports Center. There's nothing he can do to gain enough momentum to compare with what he lost over the last few years. He's dug himself in this hole. He deserves to be where he's at. He could have already had Brandon Rios on his resume. I think he would have won that fight. And now we're going to see, I think, him lose to Crawford.
That's exactly what I think.
I disagree, though. I disagree.
A lot of people are picking into.
I disagree. I think Gamboa beats Crawford. I think that's a legitimate win. It's a legitimate world title, and that only makes Jesus, my dog's going crazy. That only makes that Gamboa Mikey Garcia fight a little more interesting. If Garcia's still with Top Rank, or if Garcia still wants to be a boxer.
Yeah, I see. That's the thing.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mario. Go ahead.
No. My point. Yeah, that would make the Garcia fight interesting, definitely. But with what Yuli's saying is like Gamboa, and I hope this is what Yuli's saying. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it's like Gamboa's on this rise. It was like a meteoric rise where people were already paving the way for his spot in the pound for pound top 10, and his name was being thrown around there. Manny Pacquiao possibly in the future, and there were things that were on his horizon. To me, Mikey Garcia is the absolute best that he could do at this point in a fight, and I honestly, I think he loses to Garcia as well. But I don't think he can gain that momentum. Now, if he beats Crawford, even by a slim margin, and then beats Garcia, well, then we can start to talk. But I think just a win over Crawford doesn't put him automatically back to the point where he kind of left off before he had the promotional problems.
I mean, that's a fair point, but I still think that's a credible win at 135 if there is any right now. Aside from beating Vasquez, he's probably more likely than not the second best lightweight in the world right now.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right, guys, and I'll go back to another point if you don't mind me jumping around a little bit. We're talking about that whole the Heyman conspiracy and all these fighters lining up to jump ship from their promoters and Ward with Goosen and all that. I personally don't disagree or don't dislike the fact that fighters are being compensated more in this day and age for risking their life. I mean, the way that it was before when I touched on this a couple weeks ago when I called in, with the promoters getting massive profits with these guys going up on the ring. I mean, it's no different than fucking Michael Vick, organizing a dogfight or a freaking cockfight. I mean, you had these kids going up against each other, damn near killing each other and making pennies. So I don't actually mind that whole transition of fighters making more money or a bigger share of it. The one thing that's concerning for me, though, is the fact that this is being hyped up right now, and they're getting paid more right now to add luster to this whole Heyman management or advising brand. And then once they get the rest of the fighters, the biggest names, Chavez moves over, and then these people, there's some exodus from all these promotional contracts, and everybody lines up with Heyman, then they actually start trimming down
the share that they're getting. So they're getting these people to come jump ship, and now once they have them and once they're hooked with them, then you're going to see the salaries and the purses actually go lower for the fighters. Kind of like what a Walmart will do, and go into a market, open up a big store, have all these low prices, close all these little mom and pop stores, force them out of business, and then all of a sudden all the prices go back to normal. I wouldn't be surprised if 5-6 years on the line you start seeing some of the stabilization with the purses again, and Heyman and whoever's aligned with him is going to be sitting.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And that's the point I was ultimately trying to make with Ness. I mean, it's not about speculating or trying to see things that aren't there, but to me, I think that's a fair assessment. Whether you want to call it, whether it's reaching or not, I think that's a fair way to look at it. And I wouldn't be surprised. It's not out of the realm of possibility, is basically what I'm trying to say. I agree.
And HBO and Showtime are not freestanding entities. I mean, it's not like it's HBO alone. I mean, HBO is owned by Time Warner. It's like a $60 billion company. Showtime's owned by CBS, $30 billion some odd dollar company. There's no shortage of cash to keep squeezing fighters and doing what they need to do.
Exactly.
That was my argument, that until there's no money, why are we even talking about this? We shouldn't care what they're getting. I report it because it's my job to basically bring as much information to our listeners as possible. But and sometimes I just feel like it's like, holy shit, J. Leon Love made $150,000. You serious? Like, that's how I feel. So I let you guys know. But I could care less how much they're getting paid and where they're getting it from, as long as I get what I want. And I'm willing to pay for good fights. So I don't care if there's 10 pay-per-views, as long as I'm getting fights like Canelo Lara and, whatever else is 50-50. Like, I always talk shit about Top Rank. Props to them. I love this Crawford Gamboa. Gamboa, I don't know. He's on his last leg. But I just want to go back to this Canelo and Lara fight, man. There's no undercard announced, Vic. Have you heard anything? Because I remember the rumors about Kell Brook and Leo Santa Cruz, but I don't really.
The only thing that's certain is Francisco Vargas against Juanma.
I hope that's like the opener, man. Like the fourth fight, or some Show Extreme type of shit.
That'll probably be the opener. I mean, they're not going to Puerto Rico tomorrow to have Juanma on the Show Extreme.
I like that fight, though.
I do like the fight, too, actually. I mean, if Francisco Vargas, if they're high on him, I mean, not saying Juanma isn't past it, but he'll certainly test that chin, even though he has none, Juanma. So
definitely.
Well, I don't know, man. I think I just wanted to, like, I even titled the show Canelo versus Lara because, I don't know if it was because I was at the press conference, but I just feel the electricity for this fight, dude. I didn't even know there was that many Mexicans around here, dude. Like, he brings them out, and these two guys are taking verbal shots at each other. I just can't wait for them to get in the ring. I'm nervous, man, because the last time I picked against Canelo in a fight that was 50-50, because we all knew he was going to lose to Floyd. But when I picked Trout, he didn't surprise me because, I will admit that I could have had fight when I seen Trout win that fight. And I know that he didn't get the win. And I could have been biased, and my card could have been biased, you know what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is, that was a tight fight, and a lot of people felt the way that I felt, and opposite of how I felt. But
you said it didn't surprise you. Come on.
Well, the fight was tight in my eyes. Remember, I think I had it 115, 113, something like that.
I remember you making the point that I think you said originally you had it scored for Trout, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was a tight fight. I think the difference between Lara Canelo and Trout Canelo is, where we're at this point in Canelo's career. And I don't want to take anything from Lara, but I think it's more of like this commercial basis in terms of whenever Canelo fights. Whatever numbers he does are always going to be indicative towards his drawing power. And this kills me to say this. I feel like that's not good for Lara. Not that it's not good, but I feel like he's not getting his just due. It's kind of like this is a big fight because he's fighting a high-ranked fighter, and it's Canelo. But that's not the case. I mean, this is, in my opinion, I always saw, and this is even before Trout. I don't want to come on here and say things that I didn't say back then, but I always felt like Lara was a tougher opponent than Trout. Even when other people were saying different, Trout had did his thing, and Lara hadn't quite gotten there yet. But I always felt like this was a tougher fight for Canelo. I always felt like this would be a better fight, in all honesty, because we've seen Lara get into dogfights. We've seen Lara produce exciting action in the ring. We've seen him go that extra mile. He's not just he's not just Rigondeaux. Can he be Rigondeaux? Can he do those things? Can he impress the pugilistics or the people more concerned with pugilistic integrity? Of course he can, but he can also get down and dirty. And that's what excites me the most about this fight, is the fact that you have two highly skilled fighters at the peak of their careers, ranked at, the top as high as it gets, and basically, at the top of 154, because you can't really count Floyd. And then you have them fight each other with this kind of atmosphere and the press conferences and everything that's been going on. I mean, it's great. It's good for the sport, and I give Canelo tons of credit. He fought Trout when Richard Schaefer didn't want him to fight Trout. He came up to the press row and told everyone, well, he wanted the fight, now he's got to come through. And it was almost like he was saying, well, when he boses, please, don't write anything bad, because we still want to make the Mayweather or Cotto fight. And now he comes along, he fights Mayweather, but obviously that didn't take guts. That was, just a payday for him. And now he comes out, he fights Lara, he wants him. To me, it's great. I love it. I love the fact that this is the guy that's probably going to be on top after Pacquiao and Mayweather have their swan songs. And if this is any indication of what we can expect, he will continue to fight the very best, and he won't, there won't be any argument as to who he fought when, and, making kind of some of the Mayweather cases that people try to make, he fought Mosley late, he fought Cotto late. We're getting them at the peak of their career in their primes.
Yo, and I'll just add that I'm picking Lara because I've been such a fan for so long, and I've been high on the guy, and I value his skill set. But I will not be mad, and I will eat my crow happily, like if that shit was, some, I don't know, Moro with Rabo, ASAP status, Dominican style, because if the torch is meant to be passed to Canelo, I'm not mad at that. He's the closest thing that we have to a modern-day Oscar de la Hoya. I mean, the way that the women were, like, flocking to take pictures with him, and the way that he dresses, he's got the fucking Justin Bieber front hair thing going on. Like, the guy is trendy. He's good for the sport. I mean, if I had my way, I would change that he doesn't know any fucking English. I think it's clearly time to be doing full press conferences in English. Yeah. But he's not a bad person to become the new face of boxing. 408, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this? 408.
Yeah, it's Matt Cussell, San Jose, California.
What's up, brother? Talk to us.
No, I just wanted to ask you, what do you think about people saying still that Canelo has no good resume, but then Lara is 30 years old and probably has like the same resume as Canelo? What do you think about that?
Yeah, but you got to remember that Lara's 30 years old with 19 fights, and his resume is most undoubtedly better than Canelo's. He has fought everyone from Molina to Williams to Hearns, Hernandez, Trout, Angulo. This dude's put it in. I think he even fought Greatest Brewer, right? This guy's fought everybody. I mean, his resume is definitely better.
Well, but Canelo's got the best fighter on the resume, though.
What happened?
But Canelo's got the best fighter on his resume.
A loss?
It's on his resume.
Come on, Mario. I mean, I know you're trying to be devil's advocate here, but listen, you cannot give a guy credit for being shut out. He got shut out.
But it's the exposure to the skill level that counts. I mean,
No.
Oh my God, seriously, come on, Vic, help me out here. Is James still on the line? Man, help me out here. It's exposure. It's exposure to the talent level.
Please come in between this conversation, Vic. He's saying that Canelo deserves some sort of credit as a proven fighter because he lost to Mayweather in that fashion. Come on, Vic, help me here.
It's the exposure.
I mean, I won't say he deserves our credit for getting shut out. I mean, I don't think that. I mean, I give Canelo the credit in the world for fighting a guy like Trout, and now for taking on Lara after we killed him in the early stages of his career. But I mean, to lose to Mayweather like that, I mean, you took an L. I can't say he did great. I mean, Cotto did good. Maidana did well. I mean, Canelo kind of wet the bed there for me, for my likings.
No, and that's fair. And I'm not saying that we should give him credit like he deserves props or he deserves a pat on the back or we should boost him because of that. What I'm saying is that he's had exposure to that kind of skill level. He's seen the very best in the game. He can attest to it. Okay, because that's a lot of that's a reason why a lot of people pick against certain fighters in those kind of situations when they're the less experienced versus the experienced. It's like, oh, you're gonna fight the veteran and it's this newcomer, and it's like, oh well, he's never seen that kind of skill level. He's never seen a fighter to that degree, and I think you have to put into account the fact that Canelo's been exposed to, the greatest fighter in the world, and that means something. Does it mean something in a positive sense because he got shut out for 12? No, but the fact is he's seen it. He knows what to expect. He can be a better fighter because of it. That you can't say that just because he lost, there's nothing good to take away from it. That's ridiculous. I mean, that's dumb.
No, I mean, he was in there with the best. The best gave him a boxing lesson, and he probably learned from that. I mean, I just say he fought the wrong fight, or Mayweather made him fight the wrong fight, but I just can't give him credit for, maybe winning one round, you know what I'm saying? Of course he's going to learn from it. He's in there with the best right now.
That's all I'm saying.
I don't give him credit, and that performance gets... Whatever. He can't get no credit for looking the way that he fucking looked. He ain't even do shit. But I want to bring up this because, again, we titled this show in paying homage to that fight because it's such a great fight, very close to a 50-50 fight. I'll go on a limb and call it a 50-50 fight, even though Canelo doesn't have the resume of a Lara. But that weight on fight night, that is definitely going to tip the scales. That makes it even. But this fight is titled Honor and Glory, and Lara said something very interesting in the press conference. He said that Canelo's not taking this fight because he's looking or seeking for honor and glory. He's taking this fight because of the pressure that Lara put on him, attacking him in social media, showing up at press conferences, forcing this fight from the very beginning when he was fighting on ESPN. Do you guys think that Canelo is just... I don't know, a bravado type of guy that wants to fight the best and is looking to make his own legacy, or he said, man, this guy's talking too much shit, let me just take this fight? And his reply, just so you know, before you make your own pick, he said he did receive a lot of shit on Twitter from his own fans telling him, just shut this guy up, Canelo. So there was sort of pressure there to take this fight.
I mean, I think there was pressure, because that's the fight, after he beat Angulo and after Lara beat Trout the way Lara did, that was it. Lara's been chasing this guy for a while. But again, he didn't have to take this fight. I mean, I don't think he did, at least. I mean, you guys, people say, it's about money and this and that. I mean, Lara brings the hardcores, yeah, but aside from that, he really doesn't bring much but a tough style to beat. And for Canelo to take the fight, he's continuing a trend that I like to see out of a champion.
I agree.
First Trout, and then he took on Mayweather. Obviously, he took it for the biggest payday. Maybe he wasn't ready for that fight. Angulo was Angulo. It was a return fight. I can't get mad at that. And then he's fighting the guy again that we want him to fight. We wanted him to fight Trout after Trout beat Cotto. We wanted him to fight Lara now, and he's doing it again. So I think it could be a little of both. It could be a little of both. It could be the pressure, and it could be him, I want to be that guy.
Very, very well said, Vic. And let me just make this point. Give me 15 seconds. If it's one thing that we've learned in boxing over the last 4 years, it is that nobody who is in the position that Canelo's in, or a Mayweather or a Pacquiao, has to fight the big fight. No one is put that much pressure on. We have been putting pressure on Pacquiao Mayweather for so long. It has been completely exhausted, and yet we've seen nothing. We know that under no circumstances is a cash cow demanded upon. There is no permission. He chose this fight, and I don't want to make it seem like Canelo's, this, knight in shining Mexican hero, because he's, I don't think he is that. I think that, there is a degree of that, but the fact is that he could have gone a lot of other places. That he could have picked any other fight. He really could have. He could have given us a piece of shit fight. I really think he could have. And, the Mexican fans are still going to buy it. So what does he care? He doesn't. Mayweather's, done some things like that in the past. There have been other fights where they weren't fighting the best, and the person on top didn't, live up to that, the champion motto, like Vic said. So, no, and I do agree. It could be a little bit of both.
That's racist.
I'm just saying, you said the Mexican fans are still going to buy it. That's racist. What Broner said is racist, so is your comment. Let's take it to the streets, man. But I will say this. I am proud of Canelo. I'm happy to be a boxing fan and to have a champion, even though he's not a champion right now. But to have a guy in that, like you said, Mario, on that status and want to continue to challenge himself, knowing that he can have, easy pay-per-view fights and make a lot of money. I mean, Chavez Sr. had like 700 fights, you know what I'm saying? How many of those shits was gimme fights? So, be doing the same thing.
And let's not forget the other heroic thing, and I don't want to use the word heroic, I'm so sorry. Let's not forget the other great thing he's done by taking a stance in this fight against the WBC, trying to sanction it. He said he didn't want it. He said he knows Mayweather's still the champion, that Lara didn't win anything. They promoted him a full champion, and they wanted to put a title on the line, and he refused. He doesn't want the title. And I think that that's taking the kind of stance in boxing where a fighter of that magnitude can do that.
Knock it off. Knock it off. He's saying that about the WBA, but...
Oh, WBA. I'm so sorry.
He still wants this fight at 155. Like, come on.
No. Okay, and that's fair. No, you're right. That's fair. But, the fact that he is kind of putting that out there and his status, I mean, to me, I think that's the right thing to say. That's the right thing to do. Whether you're, and you could definitely be right, the fact that he just wants to give up that extra pound, or he wants Lara to give up that extra pound, maybe that's really what it's all about. But at least taking that stance, at least putting it out there, putting these alphabet belts on blast, that's what I, respect. I respect that he said that. He didn't have to say that. You know what I mean? He could have just said,
oh. It sounds good in theory, but, he did have an issue making 154 last fight.
That's fair, yeah.
And, if it was a WBC bout, I don't think he would have said that, but, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he probably would.
Back out to the streets here. 11111. You're live. Who's this?
All right, what's up?
What's up?
It's my first time calling. My name is Buddy Brownhorn.
Okay.
Hold on,
you sound like our last caller.
Let me open up a beer.
Brown, you're live. Damn, that's our second prank caller right there, man. We're finally making it. 706, you're live on the Box Voice. Who's this?
What's going on?
706.
What's going on?
What's going on? Oh, real talk in the motherfucking house. What up?
Motherfucking real. Dong.
Yeah, man. Man, all these guys, man, they're all Mayweather, Maidana, Canelo. To me, man, they styles make matches, man. They ain't too far apart as far as being on the same level. I mean, it just styles make matches, man. Everybody's gonna go for the guy. They're gonna say this guy's better, but you know, one thing I didn't talk about last week when I was talking about what I thought was a smart thing that Maidana did, because everybody thinks it was just the pressure. But, you know, pressure had never worked on Floyd before. So it can't just be that Maidana made it a dog fight. Floyd showed that he could deal with that. You got to look at it and give the man some credit for what he did. One of the things I noticed that Maidana did real well is he cut the ring off. He kind of did, you know, like what Triple G would do. Basically, you know, he made Floyd, he threw his feints, changed his levels. He made Floyd react, and then he was able to somehow adjust his punches on the fly, you know, to where when Floyd would move, he would step in like he was going to throw to the body, but then the punch wouldn't go to the body. It would go to wherever Floyd was basically moving to. And I don't know how he was able to avoid Floyd Mayweather's counters as he was doing that. That's what he did. He basically avoided a lot of counter punches that Floyd would normally throw, and was able to get in there, cut the ring off on him, and you know, he was almost pulling his punches and then wait for Floyd to move, and then kind of throwing them after Floyd would move, and Floyd just didn't know how to react to it. He couldn't really didn't have no target, I guess. Did you guys notice what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh.
Hello?
Yeah, we here.
Did you guys notice that what Maidana was doing in terms of kind of holding his punches back and wait for Floyd to kind of get into the defensive posture to where Floyd couldn't counter him and then throwing his shots? You notice what I'm talking about?
I didn't necessarily notice that, because to me, I think that he was positioning himself based off that jab. Like the last caller called in and he spoke about how Cotto's jab was so effective, but I think that he didn't give enough credit to Maidana's jab. Maidana landed a lot of jabs, and he would double up on that jab and double up on that jab until he got Mayweather's back against the ropes. Then he would unleash right hands and all type of wild shit. But yeah, I don't think it was necessarily the jab. I mean, you know, like him waiting for Mayweather to get in a defensive posture. I think he was just bringing a ruckus from the door.
Yeah, he kind of disrupted his rhythm. But do you remember watching the Joe Calzaghe-Bernard Hopkins fight?
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me similar to that, where Calzaghe was sort of, it took him a few rounds, but he was sort of breaking Hopkins' rhythm. And being able to, it's like a back and forth tit for tat. It's like a chess match, but one guy's putting the pressure, and he's trying to wait so that he can wait for Floyd to throw the counter, but he don't want to get hit with the counter, so he's figuring out how can I make Floyd throw the counter and not get hit and then hit him. It's like a tit for tat, and I think he was able. I always said if anybody's gonna get Floyd trouble, they were gonna have to play that chess match coming in with the pressure and be able to, you know, avoid his counters. The same way, like I said, an intelligent pressure, the same way that Calzaghe kind of put on Hopkins, you know, towards the middle to late rounds of that fight. So, and then Maidana being bigger and being a, you know, bigger guy can take a better punch. That I was saying, you know, because that was, you know, that would have helped him where he didn't get hurt in the fight. But like I said, if you know, if Mayweather comes back in the rematch and he schools him easy, then we'll know, you know, whatever, it was a bullshit. But if Maidana, which I think is going to happen, Maidana comes back and does the same thing, and it's pretty much the same thing over again, then you know really what it is the fact that Floyd's just taking advantage of when Maidana's taking his foot off the gas and not putting the pressure on him. So then we know that if it's the same way next time, then we know there's some skill to what happened. You know, and it's not just.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he makes the adjustments. I really do. I I do believe that Maidana can come back with a slightly better game plan implemented, but I think what we saw is about as good as it gets. I think that you're right. That blueprint was there, but you got to have, the necessary tools to follow it out. And the big thing was stamina. You know what I mean? Like that was a big thing, and putting yourself in the right place for the punches. Keeping on top of it, getting off first. I think that was a big thing. But for Floyd, I really think that he comes back, he makes the adjustments, and he gets it done. I think I think the rematch will look totally different. I really do. I don't think the rematch would be similar at all.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I was talking to Canelo, and he said that, Maidana's style is just a style that causes trouble for Mayweather. But when asked would he, attempt that style to face Mayweather again, he said no, that he wouldn't. And I kind of like that. 111, you're live. Is this another prank caller?
Hello?
Yes, 1111.
Nah, it's not. Nah, man. First of all, I want to get started on the whole Broner fucking issue.
Mm-hmm.
My only issue is that I didn't think that shit was racist at all, honestly. But my only problem is, fact is, let's fucking say a fucking Irish guy or somebody fucking in the UK starts saying some bullshit like that. It's something remotely like that. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna jump all on his fucking ass. All right, the fucking media will have it, TMZ, all that shit's gonna be on it. So the only reason I have a problem with this is, you know what? Let's just have to be fair all the way across. That's my only thing. Do I think he's racist? No, I don't think so. But besides, man, it's kind of, he gets more slack, he gets more shit because he's fucking cocky and he's a fucking Andre Berto 2.0. He fucking doesn't throw enough punches and doesn't move around enough. He's hit too much. You know what I mean? So I think that's why people are giving him more shit. And not to mention, WBC, who's it run by? Suleiman. He's Mexican. You don't think that, like, Espinoza or Oscar got wind of it? They, you know what I mean? They're gonna of course they're gonna get upset about it. I'm pretty sure they said something to them, and that's why they suspended him. And the whole thing with Oscar, I was looking at his Twitter, and somebody mentioned that, and he was like, "Oh yeah, he's an idiot." So he knows about it. I know somebody earlier said that I guess Oscar didn't know nothing about it, but yeah, that's my whole point on it. All right, guys, later.
All right, brother. Thanks for the call, man. 636. You're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this?
Yo, what's up? This is the Diano Cacique. How you doing, bro?
What's up, brother? Talk to me.
Man, pretty much I wanted to get started on, man, we need to be appreciative. We said that last year, that it may not be as good, but, man, this year is going to hit with a bang with the Canelo Lara, and then you got Urioka's Gamboa versus Terrence Crawford, but I'm going to get straight into it with the Lara and the Canelo. Okay. First thing is, when the last time you seen a big Cuban versus Mexican rivalry? Like, this is going to be one of the best fights, not only of the year, but it's going to make boxing history of how good this fight is going to be. It's very even. You have southpaw versus, orthodox. Canelo throws so many punches and bunches. He has some of the best feints I've ever seen in my life. Like, I mean, his feints are amazing. I'm not just hyping him up or whatever. The dude is talented. And in Lara, I mean, the dude's slick. He's fast. He's crafty. I was just watching a Paul Williams fight. Shout out to Paul Williams. He just got his some type of an award. But like I said, watching that fight, the dude can just adjust to any style. So if Canelo's gonna beat Lara, it's not gonna be an Angulo type of attack. We saw what happened to Angulo. He got fucked up. He got hit with a straight left hand all night long and right hooks. So that style's not gonna work. People's thinking, oh, Canelo has so much pride, he's just gonna run in there and do that. That's not what's gonna happen. Canelo and Lara both gonna feel each other out first. Then they're gonna start heating up third, fourth, and fifth round. It's gonna start being 70, 80 punches per round. And I feel whoever commits to finding exactly what that that person does, like, finding out their rhythm and what they do, adjusting the ring off the fly, that person is going to win. That's how it's going to, play out. Yeah, I mean, I just want to know your, feeling of how do you think the fight is going to play out overall. Do you think it's just going to be a wash? Canelo's just going to run through him with combinations and using his feint that he does where he throws that left jab out, but it's kind of like a, weird-ass punch and he throws an uppercut. Or, like, just tell me how you think it's going to kind of play out.
Well, oh, go ahead. Oh, well, I feel like if Canelo can establish the body work and maintain it through 12, I give him a really good chance to run away. Not run away with it, but I give him a great shot to win it. I think he's got to be. He's got to throw punches and bunches for sure. I mean, he's not that kind of fighter, but he's got to keep the output high because his landed shots aren't going to look as pretty. They're not going to score as many points versus Lara. If it turns into a boxing match, especially. A lot of people are saying, oh, if it's a boxing match, it favors Lara. If it's more of a brawl, it's going to favor Canelo. And I don't think that that's going to play a role because I agree with you. I think there is going to be a filling out process, and then it's going to get to the point where one fighter is going to try to make the other fighter fight their fight. I think it's going to be a back and forth, type of chess match. I think Lara is going into this emotional. And I think that could play a big role in terms of how he fights the fight and wanting to go forward in exchange. But I do give Canelo a slight edge. I think if he can establish the body work, like I said, and pick his shots, I give him a really good chance to win.
Well, I'm afraid. I'm excited to see is Canelo's speed gonna be as fast as it was in the Trout fight, because he was able to come over the top of Trout's jab with right hands. And I know that Lara kind of lingers out there with his jab. He kind of leaves it dangling sometimes. So I'm excited to see that. But I'm confident in my pick. I'm gonna stick with my pick. Vic, you want to give your takes on how you think this is gonna go play out, or it's too early? You want me to get to some more callers?
Well, for me, it's still too early. My dogs are going crazy in the background. But I don't know. It's too early for me. But I give the slight edge to Canelo, just a slight edge. But
really,
yeah.
It's me alone. I'm all alone with Lara. It's all good. 901, you're live in the box.
Well, I didn't make my pick yet. Obviously, we're still far out. But right now, I'd lean towards Canelo just a little bit.
901, you're live.
Yeah, this 901.
Yeah.
Okay, what's up, man?
What up?
I'm gonna have to say, man, I'm gonna have to go with Canelo on this. Canelo and Lara, man. I think Lara is the better technical boxer. But I agree with one of them calls. I think it was Mario, and he said that the experience for just being in the ring with the greatness of Floyd Mayweather makes the man so much better. If you go back and look at that Angulo fight, you look at early on, before Canelo started to gas a little bit, he was hitting him with them check hooks. He reminded me so much of a young Floyd Mayweather. If you would have asked me the same question of who would I pick, Canelo or Lara, a year ago, I would have picked Lara easy. And then people bring up the debate of, well, Canelo ain't fought nobody and all that. I used to be one of those guys. But you got to remember, this guy was trying to fight Paul Williams before he had that accident.
But I don't understand.
Most of the boxers were scared to fight Paul Williams, and he was trying to fight Paul Williams. You go back to the Williams and the Lara fight, and you see what Lara did and the way he got robbed. He only threw one punch. He threw one counter at a time, and that's all he did. Had he put them punches together, it would have been no way they would have been able to rob him of that fight. Plus, Paul Williams had already been sparked the hell out by Sergio Martinez when he fought Erislandy Lara. So I think Lara is the better boxer. It's the better technical boxer, but Canelo is the better fighter, hands down. And I got to go with Canelo.
All right, brother. Thanks for the call. 682. You're live on the Boxer Voice. Who's this?
Mr. Prezi.
Hey, hold on, yo, it's been so long, man. I should have known that was you too. We was just fucking texting.
Introducing to you, Erislandy
At Ethan for president. What up?
Oh, nothing, man. You know, I'm working with the NSA, and as soon as I heard this fraud-ass nigga Canelo, I had to jump on the call.
Okay.
These people, they lying to Canelo, man. They're saying, yeah, Canelo, you got this. You just a bum-ass Cuban, man. Look, Lara, he better notice Lara is a big Mayweather. That's all he needs to know. It's just a big-ass Mayweather, and the punch is going to hurt this time. You know, he's just going to dance around the ring and take this dude to school. And just because I heard Mario was saying, he gets experience from getting shut out from Mayweather. Hell no. A magician did a magic trick in front of him. It don't mean he's going to know it the second time. He still doesn't know the fucking trick. You know, and I got that by shutout. You know, Lara's going to shut him out. I don't think he's going to knock him out because, you know, Canelo is always dangerous. But, yeah, he's going to shut him out. You know, that's easy money. And I got my boy Gamboa beating that stale-ass nigga from Omaha, wherever the fuck that is.
Yo, you're going to lose that one, dog.
Damn, dude. That's racist, man.
Yeah, that was racist.
That's fucking racist.
That wasn't racist.
That's racist.
That was not racist.
But I can't believe you're a stream watching dude. Like, you watch Top Rank streams, you watch UK streams, you watch all networks. You have had to have been seeing Crawford. I don't know. Like, what are you? I mean,
No,
Gamboa,
I'm just saying.
Gamboa
He's
goes
boring. He doesn't put action. I've seen all his fights since he had dreads, looking like Predator. But you know, I mean, I just think not Gamboa, not the two-time Olympic gold medalist, not Gamboa.
Man, we ain't seen that two-time Olympic gold medalist in a long time. His last time looking decent was in the Salido fight.
Dude, you know the thing about Gamboa, he only looks good when you make him the B-side. Now in this fight, do you think Gamboa is the B-side?
Hell yeah. He's not even a top-ranked
He's
fighter.
the B-side?
He's not a top-ranked fighter, dog. They serving up his zero.
What you mean he's not the B-side? Dude's fighting in Omaha, man.
He's fighting in his backyard, man. He signed to 50 Cent. He's in no man's land. He loses this fight, you never see Gamboa again in your life.
Well, I guess Rigo fought Nonito. You know, they were supposed to serve Rigo up, right?
Yeah, but
they were
that was
supposed to serve
neutral ground.
Nonito, right?
It was neutral ground, Ephraim. It was in New York City, Radio City Music Hall. This is in Crawford's hometown. He's the A side.
Well, I typed in Omaha in Google Maps. It told me to get a life. Anyway, I couldn't find that shit. But my boy Gamboa, you know, the Guantanamo tornado, you know, he's gonna win by whirlwind. He's gonna spin this dude like a top. That power's gonna show up. 'Cause, you know, Crawford ain't a big mover. He's defensive, but he's just too stale. Like, he doesn't press for action. Like, goddamn, he almost committed suicide pressing the action against Ricky Burns. But then you know Ricky Burns is a bum. Ricky Burns need to come on here and fight Mexicans and make good fights.
This dude said, I'm still dying off that last comment.
I think Crawford moves really well, though.
What's up?
I said, you're out of control. He totally beat the shit out of Ricky Burns, man.
Yeah, I know, but that's Ricky Burns. Ricky Burns.
Ethan, are you saying that Crawford doesn't...
Let me tell you about that the fucking clowns on the fucking pay-per-view cards. Come on, I don't know about you, but, I mean, I used to be a real big hip-hop fan, but hip-hop is just whack nowadays, especially when it's live. You got this fucking dumbass Lil Wayne rapping, looking straight down at the fucking camera. Like, this nigga don't even know if he's walking or something. And then these clowns, I don't know about you guys, I'm not too fucking hip, but it came across corny as shit on TV.
I totally agree with you, Ephraim. Totally agree with you. The clowns was stupid as hell. It made Mayweather look.
Well,
like a clown.
you know, it would have been cool if there was like little trapeze and they would have had like 4 of them coming down throughout the arena, throughout the whole stairs. It was all fucking isolated in one location. You had niggas asking each other, what's happening over there? What's happening over there? Like, there's one nigga juggling 3 things, and there's like 3 fucking, the circus was 3 people. Like, well, come on, you gotta have it everywhere. I mean, I don't know. I thought it came across stupid as shit.
Hey,
and
man, let me
Broner,
get to
I
some
mean,
other...
that nigga just belongs on World Star. Fuck him.
Ooh, Broner?
Yeah, I mean, that dude is just, you know, you
know,
guys already called me racist, but I was really about to unload on him.
You know, the thing is, even Richard Schaefer said it. You know, he says, I think that sometimes he says stuff without really thinking, but as I got into the ring, the first thing that he said to me was, I'm sorry that I said what I said. He rubs a lot of people the wrong way, but I do think that there is sort of a line, and that line has been crossed, said Schaefer. He also said, which is interesting, this is what I wanted to get to. He says, when Adrian Broner was undefeated and beating everybody and looking sensational, everybody couldn't wait to jump on Adrian Broner's bandwagon. And then when he lost, suddenly a lot of people jumped off and started criticizing him and were not friends with him anymore. But that's not the way that it works, says Schaefer. I mean, either you're with somebody or you're not with somebody. Suddenly, when things aren't going his way, now everybody is picking all over him, and that's not right. That's not right, and I don't respect that. I don't respect people like that. So that's not me coming to the defense of Adrian Broner, because what he said was wrong, and I don't support it in any way, shape, or form. It was wrong. It was wrong. He apologized to me, and I'm sure that he's going to apologize to everybody else. But the way that the WBC chose to deal with this is wrong. So at least Schaefer's sticking by Broner. But he's right. I mean, 1 loss, and we're already calling him Berto 2.0.
And one more thing, Ness. Can I say something?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I ain't going to say who said this, but I heard of this. A little birdie told me, let's just say that, because, you know, it's all about the boxing voice. You know, especially the boxing voice South, you know. But, I heard they said if you take the name of Mayweather Maidana fight, if you take the names off those 2 guys and label them Fighter A and Fighter B, they said 9 times out of 10 they would have gave that fight to Maidana being Fighter B. Do you agree with that? I think I do.
I mean, yeah, if you take away the name value of both fighters, Maidana probably wins the fight based on aggression, because most judges score for effective aggression or just aggression. I mean, think about Ruslan and all the guys he was beating on ESPN. He was fighting in that same come forward, I'm going to kill you style, and they loved him over there. Ephraim, I got to get to some other callers, brother. I don't know what's your name, brother. I don't know. Me 71. If you heard the lady, that means you're live, brother. All right. 347, you're live.
Hello?
Yeah, what up, Umar?
What up, my nigga?
Chilling. We ain't ready with that magic yet. I'm still in the lab with that.
Oh, I ain't worried about that. I just want to talk, because I didn't get a chance to call last week, talk about the Floyd fight.
Go for it.
And I want to touch on the Canelo fight. But what's up with your boy Mario looking like the Mexican Two-Face with that shadow on his face, man?
I didn't have time, man, to get my lighting backdrop all set up, man.
Nah, I'm just fucking with you, bro. But yeah, man, I agree with you, Ness. I mean, even though Maidana made the fight interesting, the shit wasn't close. I really didn't see it close. And Vic, you my man, but man, you must have been on that Henny that night, dog. Sean, you my man, you definitely was on that Henny. There ain't no way in hell Maidana won that fight.
I don't know, man. I just don't think you guys gave Maidana credit for the first half of the fight. Judges certainly didn't, because he lost.
I'm gonna give you my scorecard, because I know Ness. Ness gonna say, "What's your scorecard?" I'm gonna give it to you right now. I gave only round I gave Floyd in the first 5 was the 4th round.
Yeah, man,
I mean,
I agree with
Maidana
you,
1,
Ness.
2, 3, and 5.
I mean,
And then I gave Mayweather the 6 through 12, and maybe I could give Maidana the 11th.
That's the exact same way I had it.
I don't know. I thought Maidana won the 8th too. I don't know.
The Floyd, but even if I gave that to Maidana, I still would have had a 7-5.
I thought Maidana won the 8th.
I had it the same way. I gave Mayweather the 4th, and then I thought that 11th was a swing round for sure, but I gave it to Floyd.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, if you give it to Maidana, it don't bother me. But I'm saying if Floyd still won the fight, in my opinion, pretty comfortably. But I really don't want to talk about Floyd too much, man, because Floyd got enough money. I don't need to be fucking putting his name out there too much. I want to talk about that Lara fight.
Go for it.
I think Lara gonna whoop Canelo's ass. Me personally, but I do respect Canelo for taking the fight, because honestly, I never in a million years would expect him to take the fight. But I wanted to know if you guys heard about the things Oscar De La Hoya was saying as far as he didn't want Canelo to take that fight, and he said he wants to put Adrian Broner in a fight just to lose because of what he said about Mexicans.
I heard the first thing, but I never heard that second thing at all.
Yeah, I haven't heard it either. My man just told me about it right before I got on the line, so I was wondering if y'all heard that, because I'm not really 100% sure he said that shit.
Yeah, well, I know that, there's a lot of people that, been talking about they didn't want Canelo to take the Lara fight. It was the same thing with the Trout. They didn't want him to take the Trout fight, but he was insistent on taking it, persistent on taking it, and that's great for us. I don't know if it's going to be great for Canelo at the end of the day, but yeah, I don't know. Honestly, De La Hoya is the kind of guy that talks like a big game when, he feels like he's in the majority. He'll say a lot of things that he thinks people want to hear from him. I don't know if he'd ever go that far to say something like that, where he'd say, like, I want to put his fighter in to lose. But maybe he's thinking that in secret. Maybe he said that to the wrong person and went and told everybody else.
Well, I don't know. I don't know where my friend got that information from, but Oscar is a cokehead, so you can never understand what cokeheads are talking about half the time. But fucking Vic, you taking Cotto in Martinez fight?
Negative.
Oh damn! I thought you was taking Cotto. I wanted to bet you some chancletas and some penny.
Well, you can get that with Beeb. You can get Persian rugs and whatever the fuck else. Whatever Beeb eats. Because I think Beeb's the only one taking Cotto here.
Yeah, Beeb's the only crazy one. I mean, Mario's back, so he hasn't made a pick.
I haven't decided yet.
Let me finish off, and I'm gonna jump off the line, and then Mario, you jump on your pick. Cotto, my man, but that shit, Cotto has. Martinez is like the definition of Cotto's main problems as a fighter, so that ain't
well
happening.
said. Well said.
I'm root for Cotto, but he ain't gonna win. And I got Lara beating the shit out of Canelo, and I'm gonna jump off the line. Go ahead, Mario, jump on your picks. Good talking to y'all, man. Ness, Vic, Mario, have a good night, bro.
All right, brother.
Good here for you, man. No, it's too early for me. Right now, if I had to pick, I'd pick Martinez. I feel like what we saw, in the last fight, it was like indicative or maybe like foreshadowing as far as Martinez getting old. But that was an excellent point. Martinez represents a lot of the things that are wrong with Cotto or could be problematic for him. But still, I mean, I don't want to put too much stock into the Delvin Rodriguez fight, but I don't know, man. I think Cotto is going to be a game opponent. I'll put it to you that way. I think he's going to be a game opponent. I would pick Martinez right now if I had to, but I don't want to pick anybody for sure yet.
Yeah, man. I mean, it is early, so I'm not putting any pressure. It is what it is. We definitely have time to decide, go back and watch tape and things like that. 443, you're live on the Boxer Voice. Who's this?
Hello?
443, you're live.
Okay. This is B-More. I'm calling from East Baltimore. This is Justice, right? And I just wanted to say, I think I want to know if y'all respect Canelo now, man, because I know y'all used to give Canelo a lot of shit on this show, man.
Well, I don't know if you've been listening. I don't know if you've been listening for the past half hour, but I've said it numerous times. I was the #1 Canelo hater on this panel, Vic used to join in a little bit on the hate. Mario was, he was Canelo's side piece. But
Come on, dude.
I have changed my mind, definitely. I mean, he's doing what we want. He's doing what we want all our champions to do. He's fighting all the top guys, and it's not just about money. Like, fighting the people we want. Like, he's definitely a diehard boxing fans fighter because he's putting it on the line. He just doesn't care. He could easily go the easy route. So I respect him 100%.
Yeah, that's right and exact. Yeah, because you know what? I have never been a real big Canelo fan though, but this Lara fighter definitely surprised me. But when you go back through the history, right? He tried to fight James Kirkland. Kirkland pulled out of the fight, but when he tried to fight Kirkland, people said it was a cherry pick. He picked an easy fight. I don't think James Kirkland is an easy fight for anybody, me personally, right? But he also tried to fight Paul Williams. Then people said that that was a cherry pick. Just different chat rooms I've been in on different boxing sites, and I mean I really don't understand. He gets similar to the same criticism Floyd does in a way, to me, in my opinion. And the Floyd fight, right? Only thing I'm not going back on it, but it is something that I wanted to say that I really don't like how people are giving this guy Maidana so much praise. I mean, yeah, he came to fight, he came to win, but I feel like this, right? I'm gonna go outside of boxing just a little bit. When you're watching a sport like basketball, and let's say if the Heat went 45 seasons and dominated, unbeaten, I don't think that if basically LA came in and goaltended, foul, went out of bounds, just did a lot of dirty shit, and refs didn't call any of them. The officials really didn't pick up on any of that shit. I don't feel as though that would be called a good game, at least not for the sport, because if you take out the rules, it's not even basketball anymore. It's jail ball, it's street ball. So this is how I feel with boxing. A lot of the dirty tactics that this guy uses. I know Mayweather retaliated, but I'm just saying in the early half of the fight, the rabbit punches, the low blows, and the hitting on the hip. I mean, that's not boxing to me. In a street fight, yeah, I could say he won, but a boxing match, he lost that clearly. I gave it 8-4. But like I said, I mean, it's a completely different sport, and I really don't respect him for disrespecting the sport like that. And he's very lucky if he even get a rematch. I really don't need to see a rematch unless they get a better ref in there, man. And that's all I'm gonna really say about that, because, like I said, man, to me, he just disrespected the sport, and everybody seemed like they felt as though it was justified just because it was Floyd Mayweather. But how did y'all feel about that? Do y'all think that the work he done was a little bit too extreme, or y'all think it was necessary?
Well, I think he did what he had to do to win the fight, but I agree with you completely. I feel like people were putting a little too much stock in the fact that he roughed him up, and you got to count the legal blows. Yeah, Maidana hit him in the back of the head and low blows and off of the shoulder, but you don't count those punches. I think that Floyd hit him with more clean shots, more countable shots. And the one thing you got to keep in mind, and me and Ness had to talk about this the other day, you got to remember that a lot of times I think when you see a fighter so dominant, and then any time they come in and they look a little less dominant, or people do things to them that we're not used to seeing, it's automatically judged as, oh, they're winning the fight, or, oh, they're getting the better of Floyd, when in reality, it's not that way. Just because we see somebody do something to a fighter that we're not used to seeing, that doesn't automatically translate into them, having the upper hand. And I agree with you. I think that if you count the clean shots like you're supposed to, that was Floyd's fight all day. I don't think he was ever really in trouble, to be honest with you, other than maybe the first couple rounds. I don't think there was any point in that fight where he was, he was scared or he was afraid.
90 seconds.
You're muted, dude.
Thanks for the call, 443. Another Baltimore caller to add to Slug and Wood. Shout out to Baltimore DMV area. You already know I love you. I go out there all the time. Can't wait for another fight. Punch, you're live.
Hey, what's up?
What's up?
Hey, fuck the dumb shit, man. Let's just be real.
60 seconds.
Vic, Mario, if you were in that ring and you were either one of the fighters, Maidana or Mayweather, whose punches do you want to be taking? Do you want to take Maidana's punches, or do you want to be on the receiving end of Mayweather's punches? It's a no-brainer.
But
Maidana was fucking up.
Frankie, hold on.
Maidana was fucking up Mayweather.
Frankie, but that's unfair. Now you're using Max Kellerman's school of scoring. Who would you rather be in the ring in that round? Like, that's not boxing. That's why there's judges. There's a 10-point must system. It works so well that they actually implemented it into the amateurs now. There's no longer the old amateurs.
10 seconds.
I don't think that's fair of you, Frankie.
No, listen, dude, listen. You're making it more complicated than it is. See, boxing, it's a fight. It's not complicated. You don't have to complicate it like that. Just think about it. What do you value more? Do you value 5, 6 body punches from a big puncher Maidana to every 1 or 2 pot shots from Mayweather that had nothing on it, that was just flashy? To me, it's common sense. It's plain as day. Mayweather got fucked up. You could just see he was getting fucked up and he was taking damage. Maidana was making a miss. Maidana was moving his head. Maidana was using the jab on him. And at the 4th round, I think it was at the end of the 4th or 3rd round, Mayweather was crying in his corner, telling his dad, "Oh, I can't see, I can't see." To me, that's you trying to bitch out. That's you trying to bitch out. You're in a and you're trying to bitch out, saying, "Oh, I can't see, I can't see." If you're a real fighter, you do what Maidana did. You grab your balls, you handle your business, and that's what Maidana did. And to me, he won that fight 8-4, 7-5, maybe a draw, but Mayweather didn't do enough. You guys build up Mayweather. You guys ride him, and the only one I give props to is Vic, because he's the best on there, because he sees it for what it is. He's not just blindly riding Mayweather's nuts. Just because maybe it's because you go to their press conference, you see him, you want to get an interview, so you ride his nuts. I'm not accusing. I'm just saying maybe, but to me it seems like you guys don't value Maidana, because if I remember correctly, Ness, you were talking shit on Maidana, calling him a bum multiple shows, and you were picking against him. And I mean, now I bet you're his biggest fan, right?
I'm not his biggest fan, but I did pick him to beat Mayweather, if that helps.
And I see where you're coming from. I see, you're right. There is like a general consensus where he does these things in the ring, and it's almost like you're right. People aren't giving him his just due. Like Cotto, I think he did better than Cotto, in certain regards. And people gave so much more credit to Cotto than they're giving to Maidana. But that's the point for me. If people were to say, "Oh, Maidana got his ass beat," or "Oh man, this was a fucking trashing," then I would be praising Maidana. I would be the one fighting. No, come on, Maidana did his thing. He put his heart into it. He was gritty. He made it a tough fight. He did all these things. But the fact that there are people that are saying he won the fight, that's where it gets me. I can't sit here and say that he won the fight, because I don't think he did, and that's the only reason why I'm downgrading it.
Watch the fight. Watch the fight in a calm state. Don't be riled up. Watch the fight, and you watch the fight. And through 8 rounds, I couldn't give Mayweather a round, because he was just getting body shots, and he wasn't even being active. And when he was doing his pot shots, he was missing, and they weren't hurting. I just told you guys right now. Whose punches would you rather take? Would you rather be taking Maidana's bombs, or would you rather be taking Mayweather's pot shots that had no steam on it? And another thing I noticed is the body work from Maidana actually took some of the steam off those pot shots. So now in the later rounds, when you're scoring the fight, you have to kind of consider that these pot shots, they have less on them. And also, Maidana got Mayweather's respect early, and Mayweather was scared to even get close to Maidana. It's plain as day. I mean, Maidana dominated that fight. He controlled the ring. He's a 140-pounder. Mayweather's supposed to be the pound-for-pound king. He can go up in junior middleweight. Arguably, there was talks of him going to middleweight. And this is a 140-pounder that's bullying you around.
No, Maidana's established himself at 147. I mean, don't forget he fought Soto Karass, who, I mean, essentially was a 154. You know what I mean? Like, I think Maidana was the bigger guy in the fight. You know what I mean? And I always felt that way. This is where it gets me. This is the only problem I'm having with what you're saying is you're talking about the dominance through X amount of rounds, okay? But for me, I didn't see the clean punching that you're talking about. You're focusing on who would you rather be, and you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm don't disagree with you. I would rather be Maidana in that case because I don't want to take a harder punch versus a softer punch. But if I'm talking about who I'd rather be in terms of gaining points, because that's the name of the game, he didn't knock him out. He didn't TKO him. He didn't even put him on the floor. They boxed 12 rounds. So who would I rather be from a points, standpoint? I would rather be Mayweather. I would rather be him because he landed cleaner shots, legal cleaner shots, and Maidana couldn't sustain the kind of pressure that he put on early throughout 12. He couldn't do it. It didn't happen. I can't see a round you could give Maidana, after 6, except for one. I think it was the 11th. I think that's what it was. He didn't do enough. So you're gonna sit here and you're gonna tell me that Maidana was the same fighter from rounds 1 through 5 as he was 6 through 12?
He won the 8th, in my opinion.
The thing is this, man. He's basically coming on here and calling us biased, and that's cool. That's his prerogative. The way that he's seen the fight is also, on him. But he's got to understand that we've seen it a different way as well. I mean, boxing is subjective, and we all have our own opinions. Like, Frankie, I said it on other shows as well that you were going to be picking Maidana. Like, so the same way we're biased, you're biased too, brother. I mean, you're the same guy that picked Maidana for Broner. Why wouldn't you continue to ride that wave and that high off of your pick? But the fact of the matter is you're saying you didn't see Mayweather win a round until like the 8th, when everybody in the world, and out of 112 recorded media members, I think it was 98 had Mayweather winning. Come on, dude. Like, you're not. And look, and I'm not belittling your opinion or disrespecting your opinion or anything like that. I'm just saying, you're not Miss Cleo. And you definitely don't see the future because too many people see it the other way. There's very few Maidana fans or supporters saying that he won and that he was robbed. There's very few that call in. I mean, go back and listen to the archives. He take calls every week. Very few people. Let me see. We got another Skype caller here. 111. What's up, brother? You're live. 111.
Yo.
Jay Nice, you're
Hello?
live.
Yo, what's going on, Ness? Not much. I wanted to touch on the Lara Canelo thing. I heard you guys pick. Personally, since the fight is happening in Vegas, I'm kind of like in the middle because I believe deep down inside that Lara is going to outbox Canelo. But if you remember basically what happened with Canelo and Floyd, how the judges did a lot closer than it actually was. I really didn't see Canelo taking more than 2 rounds away from Floyd. I mean, fuck that. I don't even see him taking 1 round away from Floyd. But because it's in the West Coast, and also if you notice the Canelo versus Trout, how close they had it, like some people thought Trout won. So I just think Canelo has too tough of a chin for Lara to knock him out. And even though I think, personally, Lara will beat him, I think the judges are going to give it to Canelo. And I also want to ask you guys, what the hell ever happened with Chavez Triple G? I thought I was on.
Not anymore, brother. Listen, we're on drive-by mode. I got to get to some other callers, but it's off. Chavez didn't take the money. Gabriel, all the way from Colombia, Medellin, Colombia. What's going on, my friend?
Yo, what's goody? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right, that's what's up. First of all, I want to say what's goody to Mario. I haven't heard him in a hot minute. We were exchanging emails back and forth, and he just disappeared off the planet.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it's good to be back.
You got deported, man.
Me and
Yeah.
Carlos Molina, man, we're in the same cell.
So you gotta sneak back in the country.
All right, that's what's up. Anyway, I can't believe this nigga sent me his Clio. Call me now, man. I haven't seen that shit in a minute. Anyway, yeah, just to refer to a few things. The dude was talking about how, you know, Mayweather was the pound for pound king and how he's a proven welterweight. But obviously, as we all know, I think Mayweather was weighing like 148, right, after rehydration, and Maidana was, I don't know, probably like a super middleweight or something like that. So, yeah, that dude has no idea what he's talking about. Anyway, I just wanted to give my picks for Stiverne and Arreola, and also mention the fact that finally the IBF ordered, you know, the mandatory for Pulev and Klitschko, so that's going to be interesting. Assuming that Klitschko doesn't take a out in the interim, which that could be possible. I'm picking Arreola, man. I'm thinking without the broken nose. I'm thinking with his speed and with his discipline this time around. I think he can take it. I don't know if you guys picked that out already. I just came from work and just popped into the show. And Erislandy Lara and Canelo are concerned. Obviously, logic tells you that Lara should outbox him easily. My opinion is really close with the previous caller. I mean, I think the fix is in, man. I mean, if he almost got a decision over Mayweather, I mean, what makes you believe that something fishy is not going to happen this time around when Lara outboxes the shit out of him? What do you guys think about that?
Well, you know, I kind of hate to think about robberies, man. I kind of just want them to happen when they happen because it's just a fucked up part of the sport. But I don't know, man. This is gonna be on the big stage. When it does happen on this level, you know, usually some way or another it gets rectified. I hope that it doesn't boil down to that. But I mean, wasn't Maidana Mayweather like one card? Wasn't that one like 115 or 117, 111? There's always that weird card, man, because it was
right.
like
Well, I mean, it's
Mayweather
very on rare occasions. I mean, you could reach general consensus, as you had mentioned, you know, clearly, you know, earlier. You had mentioned that boxing is subjective, and that sums it all up. I mean, very rarely can everybody reach general consensus on a decision. You know, I mean, it just is what it is. We accept our sport for what it is. But if you're talking about, you know, the upper echelon level, you know, of boxing, you can't get any higher than Mayweather and Canelo, right? So if it happened on that level, and we could, you know, logically assume that Lara Canelo is on a lower level than that, what makes you believe that there's going to be, you know, fair judging this time around? I'm thinking Canelo took the fight. I'm thinking the fix is in, man. You know, why would he take such a hard fight, you know, against, he didn't need that fight. He took it for some reason. It's because I don't know, dude, man. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, man. I hope I'm wrong. But just quick question. Who do you got for Stiverne Arreola?
I got Stiverne.
I'm picking Stiverne too.
I mean, any technical reasons why, or you just think that Arreola is just a dude who's not disciplined? And I don't know. Is it
It's not about his discipline. It's just he never. I mean, he's never come up big in those spots. I mean, yeah, he beat Seth Mitchell, but against, you know, tough guys. I mean, Klitschko, even with Stiverne. I mean, I don't know, man. I just don't think he has it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like at the end of the day, I don't think that it'll be like a rematch or it'll be completely like the rematch at all. But it's not that I don't give Arreola a shot in the fight. It's just to me like the things that are problems with Arreola are things that aren't necessarily all fixed with conditioning. You know what I mean? That is a big part, and he is a better fighter when he's fit. But there are just too many gaping holes in his arsenal, and I think Stiverne showed what sticking to the game plan against a guy like Arreola can do. You know, you wither him, and he makes his own mistakes. You know, he falters when you stick to the game plan. He gets frustrated, and it gets to the point where he starts getting desperate. And I don't think he's the kind of fighter that can climb out of that hole. I really don't. I do think he has the power to, change a fight. You know, not like one punch KO type stuff, but I do think he has the power to kind of alter the direction of a fight. But I don't think he's going to touch Stiverne enough early on for it to get to that point. I think Stiverne can grab a big lead and either coast with it, or it's going to get to the point where Arreola gets desperate and he stops him, and that's what I think will happen. I think I got Stiverne by TKO or stoppage in the 8th. I think that it's going to get to the point where Arreola's going to get frustrated and he's just going to make mistakes like he does. He does that all the time.
All right, my nigga, get ready to eat that crow, Mario. Arreola's winning.
I'll be the first to admit it, man.
Well, Gabe.
Nah, it's all good, but yeah.
Oh, go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
Nah, it's all good. Go for it.
No, go ahead.
All right, I was just gonna say that I just honestly believe my heart of hearts, using my logic, and I really believe that barring a complete meltdown, like the last fight they had, the first fight, I believe that Arreola's got the speed, the skills, and obviously if he's in shape and he's psychologically there. I mean, I know I just mentioned 3 or 4 consecutive ifs, but if he's on top of his game, like basically this, can we at least agree on the notion that if the same Chris Arreola shows up that fought Seth Mitchell, that he's going to take the title?
No.
Or not even?
No, because Stiverne doesn't have a Seth Mitchell chin.
Seth Mitchell was, I think, damaged goods at that point, too. I mean, not to take anything away from it, and not to say that he wouldn't have beaten Seth Mitchell before the, who was it, Thomas fight? Or no, I forgot who it was. Before the other 2 fights. But I just feel like I said, Arreola's in that position where I don't think he's going to make the adjustments from the rematch. I really don't. I don't think he can. And I don't even think that the best Arreola... Look, the best Arreola comes in on Saturday night, he's got a fighting chance, for sure. I'm not saying he's, this is a one-way fight. I'm not, not at all. I would put it somewhere around, 75-25. But I just feel like no matter what Arreola is able to correct from the things that he's able to control, they're not enough from the things that are, too far past his... his own ceiling. I think he's kind of peaked out in terms of what he's capable of doing in the ring. And Stiverne's the kind of fighter that can expose those things from a boxing standpoint.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for your insight and knowledge. And this is my first time calling in, I don't know, months. But I'll continue to call in, and thank you very much for listening to my opinion.
Thanks, man.
Calling in. Rob, you're live.
What's up, guys?
What up?
Okay, so let me break this down, okay? People that are talking about Arreola's conditioning and fitness need to get a reality check. A boxer builds that level of fitness to be an elite fighter, to fight at a solid pace over 12 rounds and win big fights. They build that over their entire career. They start off boxing 4 and 6 rounders and they build up gradually. You can't just work out for 8 weeks and do what all these other fighters have been doing for 8 years to build that level of fitness. That just can't happen. He might be in slightly better shape, he might look better, but his actual stamina when it comes to fighting for 12 rounds at a hard pace, which is what he would need to do to beat Stiverne. That just can't happen. You can't do 8 years' work in 8 weeks.
I 100% agree with you, but in all fairness, I will say that this wasn't just, a great training camp. I mean, Arreola's been in this mind frame for the last year. I mean, he's stuck to his diet. He's looked better. I mean, even going back to his last couple of fights, he's looked better. And, it's a change that happens over time, but I absolutely agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you whatsoever. But, just to be fair, it's not like this was just one great training camp. It's been a lifestyle change, as he's put it. He's put himself in this position over time. It's not like something new. But I do agree with you, though. Just to put it out there.
For me, I just think Stiverne is a better fighter. I mean, Arreola, he's got some talent, but when have we seen it, really? Who's the best fighters that he's ever beat? Chaz Witherspoon and Seth Mitchell? That's really nothing to go crazy about.
No, I mean, in a lackluster heavyweight division, it's better than, other fights. But no, I absolutely agree with you. I mean, Stiverne is the superior fighter. His ceiling in one fight is just much higher than Arreola. We've seen Stiverne change levels. We've seen Stiverne make adjustments. We've seen Stiverne in sticky situations in the Arreola fight alone, and he's always managed to overcome them. And I mean, I guess you can look at the opponents, but we're looking at Arreola as an opponent. So you know what I mean? It's completely fair to say that he's a superior fighter, and that's going to prevail. And I think that's what it ultimately boils down to. I love the rematch. I love, the idea and the fact that they had such a great fight the first time around. But for me, I think Stiverne's just too smart to come in and, think, well, I did it last time, I'm just going to do what I did. I think he makes adjustments. I think he plays it a bit safer, and that's just going to translate into a W.
Yeah. My final point, I scored the Mayweather fight 7-5, but let's look back. That circus was bullshit. Roy Jones Jr. used to come to the ring rapping. Nazim Hamed used to come out, magic carpet, Halloween, knocking out skulls, and then they would spot the guy out that they're fighting against. That's a real ring entrance.
Definitely.
I agree again.
Okay. Great show, guys.
Thanks, man.
Well, that's our last call for the night. This has been another edition of the Boxing Voice. We hope you enjoyed it. Remember, we got the Ruslan glove giveaway. We're going to start this Canelo Alvarez glove giveaway. And thank you for all your continued support and your iTunes reviews. We appreciate it. I am NesGTO. Later. And this Mario Munguia on Twitter, at Mario Munguia. See you guys Sunday.
Later.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.